1-800-616-6171. Subject to lender approval. NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
You know the feeling. Wake up, get ready, get the kids, the list goes on. But what if what you drive could make your life a little less complicated? With convenient home charging, a quieter ride, and an average range of more than 250 miles, EVs are one step toward a cleaner future, so you can focus on what really matters. Give yourself more time to recharge. EVs are for everyone. Sponsored by the NC Clean Energy Technology Center and the North Carolina Association of Broadcasters in cooperation with this station.
Is going to your local bar the worst part of your day? The bartender ignores you, mediocre food, warm beer? Then why go there? Take 5 minutes and drop in at Sharky's, where they'll give you a free evaluation, and you can learn about all the bars that you shouldn't go to. Sharky's has helped thousands find the right bar to hang at. What are you waiting for? Sharky's evaluation could be the cure to the worst part of your day. Change your bar, change your life. Sharky's, 5800 Durham Road by the Shell Station.
Stay informed with The Rundown, the daily newsletter from High School OT that delivers high school sports news and insights straight to your inbox. Brought to you by High School OT and powered by our sponsors, First Carolina Bank and Smith Douglas Homes. Subscribe to The Rundown at highschoolot.com.
Lowe's knows you've got a job to do, and we help get it done. With the MyLowe's Pro Rewards program, eligible members save more with volume discounts on qualifying orders through a quote of $2,000 or more. Join for free today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Offer can't be combined with any other discount, contract, and/or special pricing. Exclusions, more terms, and restrictions apply. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
Get in the hole!
That's ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. We'll continue to see rainy conditions on and off for this afternoon, and it will become breezy as well with some gusts up to around 20-25 miles per hour. 73 for the high today, overnight low of 66 with rain continuing on and off. And tomorrow, same story, some scattered showers, but not expecting any flooding. Tomorrow's high in the low 70s.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 60 points to 46,308.
Jones, there was no fair catch at the 12, and he squeezes out of it. Marcus Jones down the sideline. Walker's in front, past the punter. Marcus Jones, and that's a punt return for a touchdown. Drake may. Can he keep it himself and take it? He will. He does. And that is a touchdown, New England. So Vrabel, they hang on to the ball. They hang on for the win easily. 42-13.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. It's a Monday, everybody. It is a Monday. For State fans, probably not great. For Panther fans, also not great. But we're going to get through it together. Duke fans got the win. UNC fans on the bye. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I'm Tim Donnelly. Max producing once again, as Dennis should be back tomorrow. But we don't have time to wait. Actually, we do. Just for one quick second. Monday sound off, in the interest of all of you having to wait a little bit to get your opinions off. 4:15 Monday sound off. We will open up the phone lines at 4:15. So bookmark the number 919-860-5326. Whatever you want to talk about, whatever you need to vent about, whatever you need to get off your chest, we want to hear it. 4:15, a little over an hour from now. And again, the phone number that we will tell you when the lines are open to call, 919-860-5326.
What could people possibly have to sound off on? I have no idea.
The thing is, I think we know the general idea, but the specifics of it, I'm curious to find. And we'll dive in more as the show goes along, right? It's one of those things where there's maybe a couple topics, but 100 different ways to dive into those topics. So let's start diving in with the big 3 at 3.
Number 1.
The Panthers got smoked. Absolutely smoked. New England, which it hurts extra because Drake May's from here, and it hurts extra because they drafted their quarterback. They signed their new head coach both more recently than the Panthers have done so. It stings because they just beat the Falcons 30-0, and while I knew watching the Falcons win, it wasn't won in sustainable ways. It's not like you could just repeat that game plan. It's still, you can't help but get a little bit inflated by a 30-0 win. And do you know what might be the most stinging part of it is? The parts that we've been worried about for over a year now are still the parts that are causing big, bad, gigantic losses. The Panthers, in their current iteration, the Dave Canales, Bryce Young, Dan Morgan, whatever era you call it for the Panthers, they are horrendous in the face of adversity. And that is as insulting as a thing as you can say about a team sport to a franchise or a group. That when you get punched in the mouth, you just go, ow, and cower. Right, very, very early on in Dave Canales being the head coach of the Carolina Panthers, I said, I don't know what this guy's going to be like after a loss. Right? He was in the Pete Carroll mold. That's what everybody told me, right? He's optimistic. He loves life. The anecdotes we were getting out of his first training camp is this guy loves to go out and set up pads. Before drills, he would be the one making sure the bags that they have to do high steps over, he was making sure they were perfect. And I was going, well, can a guy who's that jubilant appropriately break his foot off in their John Brown Hines parts after a loss? And yes, that was my Denzel from Remember the Titans impression. Can he be the voice, the tone of that's not okay? I don't know. We're over we're almost however many months in. That's my concern since the day he was hired. And then you have a game like that. And I just don't feel it.
It doesn't seem like they hate losing enough.
It doesn't feel like they hate losing enough. It doesn't feel like there's somebody making them hate losing enough. Here's Dave Canales after the game. He's taking blame for the loss at the Patriots.
When it's a full team effort like this, I have to put that on myself. I have to look at how I'm preparing the team, how we're going about our work. I have to look at that and compete to find an edge to get these guys to work together, to focus, so we can get the execution that we're seeing happen in our processes. But this is the only way to work through these things is to go right back to work, to attack it head on. And, with the guys, I told them in the locker room, like, hey, a loss is a loss. We got to look at this stuff. We got to look in the mirror and figure out who we want to be as a team so that we can get the execution that we're calling for and that we're looking for.
I don't believe in moral victories. I don't believe in spiritual victories. When you keep score, there's a win and there's a loss. But I also don't believe every loss is created the same. A loss is a loss. We have to watch it. No, that is worse than many other losses.
Way worse. Like, even if you were looking for moral victories, like, there weren't any.
They don't have anyone to look to when times are tough. They don't have the one they look to say, hey, can you do something? That punt return changed everything. And it happened second offensive drive. They punted. It gets returned for a touchdown. And the scary part is from that moment, there was 0% chance they were turning it back. Once the snowball gets going against the Panthers, they never turn it back in the opposite direction. They never get the swing back in their direction. If a game happens, and maybe even we'll say like offense and defense. If there's a game where the offense is just good and good and good and good, they can have a good game. We saw it. But as soon as somebody from the other team jumps up and makes a play, it's like, well, we tried, and they just cower and go in the corner. The average margin of defeat, and shout out to Julian Council, who's locked on Panthers, because this is where I first saw this stat. Average margin of defeat for the Carolina Panthers head coaches, Dave Canales gets beat when he loses by an average of 18.2 points. Frank Reich, 12.2. John Fox, 12.6. Dom Capers and George Seifert, 10.9. Matt Rule, 11.4. He's getting beat by a touchdown more than every other coach that's ever coached for the Panthers in their losses. And a touchdown is a ton in football. There's a reason why you don't see 25-point spreads in the NFL. We will talk about this more, I promise, and we will give you your opportunity as well. 4:15 Monday Sound Off. Bookmark the number 919-860-5326. We have to move to the other game that is certainly needs some venting.
Number 2.
NC State lost a must-win game against Virginia Tech. And similarly low levels of juice. I wanted NC State to win the toss, say we want the ball, and go bully Virginia Tech because they recognize how important a win it was, and you recognized where Virginia Tech was, which is a team that just fired their coach, had players going into the transfer portal all last week. They were a wounded animal, and if you hit them early, if you knocked them down early, I don't think they would have gotten up. But instead, you gave them life over and over and over again. And the sad part of it is maybe it's my fault. I started believing they had turned some kind of corner on this. The killer instinct. When you needed it against an overmatched opponent, you didn't have it, and you kept them alive long enough. And as every coach, every announcer, anybody that covers sports will tell you, the longer you let an overmatched opponent hang around, the more they believe in themselves and the more they start making plays. That one was as hard to watch, maybe even more difficult to watch. If you're a State and Panther fan, I think the State game was probably more frustrating because as you went along, you kept going, all right, they'll turn it on. All right, okay. All right, after half. All right, here it comes. All right, and it just never happened. With the Panthers, once the ball got rolling, you were just like, well, this was fun.
You knew there was no coming back.
Do I have any chores I can get done here? I don't have to watch the rest of this one. With State, they kept you on the hook the whole time, only to, at the end, once again, not have that one play you need.
You gave a kid who had 11 carries on the year. He ran for 174 yards against your defense.
And he was a perfect example of you could see it with every time he touched the ball, every missed tackle, every move he made. It was like, oh, he's starting to think now he thinks he's Bashul Tootin, who was their stud last year. Okay, now by the end he thought he was Barry Sanders. By the end he was like, you guys can't touch this. I don't know why I didn't start this way. And that says something about NC State's defense against Virginia Tech. Took a guy with darn near no experience. By the end, he thought he was Barry Sanders. That's number 2. Let's get to number 3.
Number 3.
Shout out to the glass half full people out there, because obviously this weekend tweeting a lot about the Panthers and State, and yes, Duke as well, and they got the win. But you're tweeting a lot of negative things about some teams, and every once in a while, someone would just tap in and go, "It's almost hockey season." Hey, you still got the Canes. It's almost hockey season. And first of all, don't take the Canes for granted. It's nice to have a program in the area that at least is going to be quality, right? At least is going to be certain semblance of functional. They have a preseason game tonight. There's really, and maybe it's our fault. I made the big story of the preseason. Yes, Barry Kokaniemi trying to make statements, and he continued to do that. But he also took a stick to the face, right the blade, bad luck, bad look, and that kind of obviously put an end to his preseason. We'll see how physically he turns out, and we hope that he is obviously A-okay and good to go, because I do think he was playing some of his best hockey, moving some of his best hockey this preseason. But I have changed my direction of the preseason. I want to see Bradley Nadeau make it impossible to send him back to the AHL, because it's still likely. I don't see where there's a forward spot available in the big league club for him to take, but he's playing in every preseason game, whether it's his choice or not. I love it. He is playing his game, meaning hunting for shots. This is a prospect who last year was on the AHL all-prospect teams and all those sorts of things. He brings something that is kind of not in abundance in the big league club, in the Canes locker room, which is stone cold assassin shooting, hunting for his shot, which at times we yell and scream about them needing more of that attitude on the Carolina Hurricanes. So I just want to see him continue making it a difficult decision, continue making it, making them feel like, I feel really stupid sending him to the AHL, until eventually maybe they go, all right, we got to find a way to keep him.
He had a good game last night. I've already.
They all bleed together.
Yeah, all the football watching all my teams lose this weekend. It made me forget. And I was there at the Canes game last night, so I don't know why I forgot it was.
What day it was?
Yeah, like 15 hours ago or however long. But Nadeau looked good. I've been wanting to see a little more dimension to his game. Obviously, he's a talented goal scorer with a good shot, but he's had a couple issues in the defensive zone, particularly in the game against Florida last week. He had a turnover that led to a goal at the end of the first period, which we don't really want to see that. And there's still potential there. I don't know if the room is there for him to really crack the team this year. But he's definitely somebody that's good to have in the back pocket. And if there's an injury or something comes up, that's a guy that's capable that you can bring in, and his baseline level is going to be solid. And he might be able to contribute for you. He could get like a spot start over on the power play on the second unit as well. So it's good to see him get on the score sheet a couple times last night.
I agree with you that the roundedness of his game isn't there, but I think there's a lot of roundness on the Canes roster. And there's not a lot of selfish me-first goal scorers.
There's room to throw someone that may be a little more one-dimensional, and that's not a knock on him. He's just very good at goal scoring.
And very young and a lot of room to grow and all those sorts of things. And also I think maybe just joining the Canes by nature of what everyone else is doing, you have to do. That can be better. But again, he's got to make it impossible.
And we just got to get him to beef up a little bit too.
True. That goes for all of the young guys.
Yeah, we're not afraid to take chances on the smaller players, obviously. But there's only so many that you can have. At some point, you got to get some beef in there.
Yeah, you can't replace Carrier with Nadeau because you lose 75 pounds. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll mix in some Canes throughout, but let's be real. We got to react in our biggest and bravest ways to the two losses from the weekend. NC State losing to Virginia Tech, Carolina Panthers losing to the Patriots on the road, and we will dive into State against Virginia Tech next.
Hey, it's Brian from McDonald's. And if you're like me, you're a don't talk to me until I get my cup of coffee person. Sarah knows that very well. That's why I treat myself to McDonald's. And right now, you can grab any sized iced coffee for just $1. Maybe you need something extra. Go for a hot or iced mocha, latte, or macchiato for $2. And if you're really feeling fancy, for $3, you can get a caramel or mocha frappe. Easy as 1, 2, 3. $1, $2, $3. Any size, every morning, during breakfast hours only. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
You worked hard for your 401k, but if you've left your job, your money might be sitting in the wrong hands. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and it's very possible that the 401k that you have had for years has hidden fees and limited investment choices. But if you're no longer with the company, that 401k may be at the mercy of your former employer. All of these things could be costing you thousands. Rolling over your 401k into an IRA can provide better investment options that align with your long-term goals. At Trajan Wealth, we're fiduciary advisors that are held to a higher standard with no hidden agenda and no hidden fees. Don't let your retirement dollars sit in an old plan, and don't roll it over to your new plan without consulting Trajan Wealth first. Call Trajan today, 919-200-4000. That's 919-200-4000.
Advisory services are offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
It's open enrollment. Time to choose a plan that includes Wake Med, the leading provider of healthcare services in Wake County. On the exchange, choose a plan that includes Wake Med. Looking for a Medicare plan? Choose one that includes Wake Med. Got a company plan? Make sure Wake Med is in it. Learn more at wakemed.org. After all, it's your health, your choice, and you're about to make a very good decision.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. NC State lost to Virginia Tech. NC State lost to Virginia Tech. This is one of those games we talk about where the more words you use to describe the loss, the worse it gets. Right? The NC State lost to Virginia Tech in a vacuum. Virginia Tech's a good program, right? All right, it happens. Then you add, well, NC State lost to Virginia Tech and they fired their coach 2 weeks ago. All right, that's worse. NC State lost to Virginia Tech and Virginia Tech got smoked by ODU and fired their coach a couple weeks ago. NC State lost to Virginia Tech and they didn't get what you want to see out of their offense, meaning State didn't get what you want to see out of their offense. Matter of fact, that is something that I think, again, makes it worse. In many ways, a loss has levels. Okay, and we talked about this with the Panthers. I don't like that Dave Canales is on repeat after losses, right? I don't like that he reacts to a 1-point loss against the defending Super Bowl champions in the same way he does a 40-point loss to a team that was drafting super high last year. I don't like that, right? You have to be able to express your displeasure in a way that creates urgency. This loss was extra bad for State for a bunch of reasons, and not all are attributed to, well, Virginia Tech was in a bad place and you should have been able to take care of it. Although, don't get me wrong, Virginia Tech is in a bad place, and they were playing at your house at night, good atmosphere, clear skies, the weather didn't end up being a thing, and you still couldn't make it happen. But it's also the way your offense has looked over the first month. Through the first third of a season, State had been just proving to us over and over and over again that their offense has dudes. C.J. Bailey is a good quarterback. I don't think that's debatable at this point, even if there were certain things about his performance against Virginia Tech that made you go, man, wish he would have done this different. He is a good quarterback. He is physically accurate with his throwing arm. He can run. He is a good quarterback. Hollywood Smothers might be a great running back at this point. Justin Jolie might be a great tight end at this point. Some of those wide receivers on any given night can pop off, and then they have speed. Wesley Grimes, Terrell Anderson, they have experience in like they're a good offensive unit. And so when it doesn't show up, it's that much more painful because you know it's there. By the way, I didn't say this at the top of the segment, but I'll give you all the update. Monday sound off at 4:15. If you want to vent in the way I'm getting to vent right now about NC State, 4:15. We'll give you the phone number at that time. You can vent about Panthers, State, whatever you want to vent about. You get to pick the topics. So there is a loss. This is what it all boils down to for me. There's a loss for NC State against Virginia Tech. I was there. I felt the wind come out of their sails a few times. It is a palpable, tangible, excruciating loss. And then you get into the way that they're reacting to it. And there is a specific quote from Dave Doeren that is going viral. And it is, do we have the negative? Yes, we do. Here's Dave Doeren, and I'll break down the part that's going viral after you hear it. Dave Doeren on his response to the negative outside noise.
Other than having to talk to you guys, I don't know that there's noise. I know that there is because that's what our world does right now. But I don't pay attention to any of that. My job is to stay focused on what's going on inside these walls with these young men. Externally, besides being a husband and a father, my job's to recruit. My job's not to listen to you or the media or anyone else about their opinion of our program. It's to do everything that I can to help these guys win the next game. And that's the same thing I'm telling them. And you find out who your friends are. You know, you guys all go through tough things too. You'll find out who's loyal and who isn't during tough times. And, you know, you got to block the people out of your life that aren't that way. You don't need to read negative things. You don't need to pay attention to negative things. You control what you can, and you surround yourself with people that want to do the same. And so, my advice to anybody, not just our players, is, be in a circle of friends that promotes your growth. You don't listen to things that people tell you that you don't ask for advice from. And I'm sure they're not getting on social media asking for advice. So why pay attention to what people are saying? And, it's one thing to say you want us to win when we're winning, and when we lose to say that you want us to leave. That's not loyalty. And so we're going to be loyal to the people that are loyal to us. And that's these players, that's these coaches. And we're going to fight together, and we're going to fight hard. And that's the message. And these kids are going to do the same. They understand what it is. And that's college sports. It's pro sports too. I mean, week 1, Alabama loses, and everybody thought they were the worst team in college football. And now they've gone on a run, and everybody's got them in the top 10. I think it's what have you done for me lately business. And I understand we've lost 2 in a row. So that's how we're looked at. And so we got to get back to doing things better.
A lot of defining loyalty, which I know from experience and being around sports for a long time is going to rub the fan base the wrong way. But I'll say this. I like Dave. I like Dave Doeren. Okay? And I like Dave Canales. I like all the Daves as people. Right? And I think there's a massive amount of respect due. I think he wants what's best for the program. I think he works hard as heck to make it happen. I think when you are the head coach at a major university and you're getting paid millions of dollars and your players are getting paid millions of dollars and fans are forking over their hard-earned cash and they're showing up, you have to understand that as an industry, the loyalty is not to you, it is to the team. The loyalty is to whoever's wearing that uniform, and the loyalty from fans hopefully was around long before you got there and will be there long after you leave for whatever reason. Your product when you are a coach is wins and games you should win. Your product when you are a college football head coach, college football coordinator, college football position coach is how well the kids, the players, the young men under your stewardship perform based on expectations, based on reasonable expectations. It was a reasonable expectation that State beat Virginia Tech over the weekend. So now that's your product. That's your output or your export, not your output. There's import and export. That's your export. That's what you're selling. If you go to a restaurant, you order food, they bring it late and it tastes bad. Well, you didn't come back to my restaurant. You're unloyal. You're disloyal. It's like, no. Now, if you show up, you order food, it's brought with good service, and it's tasty, you will come back. Is that loyal? No, that's business.
Everybody who went to dine at Carter Finley Stadium on Saturday night got they waited on their food for 45 minutes, and it came out cold, and the server, he had an attitude.
And now, you're complaining about the food. You must not be loyal. Wait, no. This is a transaction here. And by the way, reasonable expectations are important. If they brought in, the Buffalo Bills and you lose and everybody's complaining and saying you should be on the way out, that's an unreasonable expectation. Virginia Tech, 2 weeks off losing their coach, getting smacked by ODU, players hitting the transfer portal. You have a talented offense, which, by the way, does come with a price tag. You have some things going on there. Would have worked. And I know, and I want to be clear on this, I'm intentionally not bashing the State defense as much because their defensive coordinator, Coach Elliott, was not there because he had a tragedy in his personal life. His daughter lost and this is separate from all the football ranting I'm doing. His daughter lost her fight with cancer, and he's away from the team. And reasonable expectations are the defense is going to have some struggles with that.
And honestly, comparatively, they got beat on some long runs, but general, it was probably one of the better defensive performances they've had.
And
this season.
There's some of that also. And I'd put this out there: they are bashing themselves worse than we could, because I know when a coach is going through that, the players want to go out there and play well for him and make plays for him and honor everything the right way. So I'm almost putting a barrier there. There were more reasonable expectations for the offense for NC State that they did not live up to. And to say that no matter what product you're putting out, you have to fully support and defend, or else you're disloyal. I find that a misunderstanding of the relationship. Now, if it's like a family member or one of your good friends and you're a coach, yeah, blind support is what you're looking for. Blind support. I'd throw 4 interceptions in my college career, come back, my grandparents, my mom, my dad, they're going to be going like, why didn't the receivers make those catches? Right? Like that's what you're looking for there, but that's not the relationship you have with the thousands and thousands of people that buy tickets to watch your team play on a Saturday night. That relationship, there is an expectation. And if you don't live up to your end, they're not just going to give you a free pass like a family member or your best friend from high school would do.
Yeah. It's Saturday night. It's homecoming game. You're playing a Virginia Tech team that has struggled. There's a bunch of players who are either like debuting or have played a handful of snaps at this level. And you're a double-digit favorite. You're coming off a loss to a rival. You need to put your best foot forward on the field there. And you can't be upset when fans react negatively when you guys you lay an egg. You laid an egg against an opponent that you should have beaten. Now
there's really only one way to react to that.
Yeah, and you're in year 13, 14 as head coach. I like Dave Doeren. I like the blue collar attitude he brings to the program. It fits very well with the NC State culture. But at some point you are what you are, and you are the sum of your results on the field. And the result on the field this week was a home loss as a double-digit favorite to Virginia Tech.
And to be clear, if Virginia Tech didn't fire their coach, if they still had Brent Pry, if they didn't have those transfer portal entries, if they didn't lose to ODU, if they were what they hoped to be at the beginning of the year, I still think NC State is more talented.
Honestly, Virginia Tech may not have played as kind of inspired and played in that style if they're still under Brent Pry and they're still under the guys that started the season. So. I mean, credit to them. It's kind of, you see it sometimes in sports, kind of like the fired coach, like bounce, where the interim comes in and then the team starts kind of rattling off a good run of form, maybe for stringing some wins together. So, I mean, all the credit in the world to them. They came with a game plan. They were able to limit Hollywood Smothers. They're basically the first team to do that this season in a big way. ECU did a decent job of it in week 1, but, I mean, Virginia Tech held them under 100 yards, well under 100 yards the first time since week 1. So, I mean, hats off to them. They came with a game plan and they came prepared, and NC State just was not up to the task.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll get to the Dean's List. We'll spin some optimism, give some people some praise coming up next.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here with my friends over at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. So many people that I've talked to during this weight loss journey have expressed their frustrations when it comes to weight loss, and I understand it. I felt that as well. Trying to do different diets or different exercises, or your body doesn't seem to react the way that you want it to. The wonderful thing about Raleigh Weight Loss Center is that they give you a direct plan. They said, Dennis, follow this plan and you can see results. And guess what? In just about 2 months with Raleigh Weight Loss Center, I've lost nearly 40 pounds. In 2 months, that's about 13% of my body weight I've lost in that amount of time. Give them a call at 919-897-7506 or go to RaleighWeightLossCenter.com and figure out if the program is right for you, because you can schedule a free 15-minute phone call to learn more. Give them a call at 919-897-7506 or visit RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. Again, RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. Figure out if the program is best for you. Results may vary.
Son, do you know what time it is?
Your father and I were waiting all night for you to come home.
I'm sorry. So we could tell you that you're eligible to become a member of Navy Federal Credit Union. Wait, what?
Since your dad's a veteran, our whole family can join and get exclusive savings, discounts, and award-winning service.
Thank you. Now go to your room and think about what we said.
All veterans and their families are eligible. Join today. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things. Like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Coach Saban here, and let me tell you, every second matters. Preparation is everything, and that's why I trust Kidde Smoke Alarms.
And as North America's #1 home fire safety brand, they're built to respond over 25% faster to smoke detection. Kidde helps protect what matters the most. Find it at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. #1 claim based on total household installations as of December 2023. 29% faster average smoke detection based on internal testing of smoldering wood fires for Kidde 9th edition versus leading competitor 8th edition products.
Protect your home and auto by bundling them with Progressive, and you'll have a little less to worry about. But we know you'll find other things to worry about. Like that text you just got from your boss. Hey, call me when you get a sec. Hey, call me when you get a sec. Hey, call me when you get a sec. Oh, hey, call me when you get a sec. Yeah, this is bad. Oh, well, at least you protected your home and auto with Progressive, so you don't have to worry about that. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Don't forget, we're opening up the phone lines, and we are prepared. Okay, so bring whatever you want to bring. State fans, Carolina Panther fans, bring whatever you got in your toolbox, and we'll deal with it when you get there. We're looking for your calls at about 4:15, so about 45 minutes from now, a little bit less. We'll open up the phone lines. You can bookmark the number now if you'd like, 919-860-5326. Put in your speed dial so you can get there quickly when we do open up the lines. In the meantime, time for a little Dean's List. A little bit extra praise here, a few extra accolades for those that are directly or indirectly related to the college sports we hold so near and dear in this part of the country. You got to start with Duke football, and I'm zeroing in on Cooper Barkate, their wide receiver. Duke got a dominant win over Syracuse, the oasis in a desert of rough football for the major programs and major professional teams in the state of North Carolina over the weekend. But Barkate is the reason why I highlight him. He had the 2 touchdown catches, which are going to draw some attention. He's 14th in the country in receiving yards. I think we highlight a lot of the bad that the transfer portal does, and we don't highlight enough of the good. There's always this bust played for 4 teams in 4 years, and he never stuck around to compete, and now he misses out on the NFL, and he never developed, and blah, blah, blah. But we don't do a lot of, this guy was a pretty big-time recruit, chose Harvard, which obviously is a academics over athletics decision, goes to Harvard, turns into a star in the Ivy League, graduates, gets his degree from Harvard, now says, I wonder if I can have my cake and eat it too and go live out the Power Conference football dream, hits the transfer portal, ends up at Duke. He's the 14th leading receiver in the country, playing for an offense that likes to sling it. Darian Mensah is a dude at quarterback, and he's pretty much number 1. That's the good of the transfer portal. That's the great of the transfer portal, so I wanted to highlight that as well. Do you have a Dean's List you'd like to throw out here?
Well,
Max?
Pursuant to the Duke football, I wanted to give my Dean's List to Nate Shepard. Dude absolutely balled out against Syracuse. 168 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. Also caught 4 passes for 33 yards. As a freshman, he is balling out. It's been one of the better, at least last week, one of the better freshmen in all of college football. So he's really coming on in a big way for Duke.
We talked with Manny Diaz a couple weeks ago, the head coach for Duke, and one of the things I asked him about was like if he had a plan for that backfield, because he had at the time 4 or 5 guys that were all kind of getting, a handful of carries a game, and he said, he liked the mix-up. It does look like over the last 2 games, which 2 big wins against State and Syracuse, Anderson Castle and Nate Shepard have kind of settled in as the 2-headed monster.
Yeah, it's a great 1-2 punch they have in that backfield.
And I think Shepard is the one that, if there's a 1A, he'll become the 1A.
To me, he's like if you compare it to like the Lions 1-2, he's the Gibbs, and Castle is like the David Montgomery, like the finesse and the speed versus the power run game.
It's crazy how that backfield has become the most compared backfield on the planet. The Lions, everybody just wants to say, hey, we got a Gibbs and a Montgomery.
Well, that's what everybody wants, though.
Yeah.
You want the one guy who's got the speed and the elusiveness, and then another guy who can just pound it up the middle when you need it.
Every quarterback draft prospect that like improvises, it's like he's got Mahomes in his game. Like if you have one big running back and one fast running back, it's like, well, they're trying to do the Detroit Lions thing. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just it's so common now. It's ironically, it's like Ryan Fitzpatrick played at Harvard. You're just going to say it 10 times a broadcast because that's what you're going to do. Back to the Dean's List. Peyton Wilson, former NC State linebacker. If you haven't seen it yet, go watch his chase down of Jordan Addison. So Jordan Addison, wide receiver for the Vikings, just off a suspension for some off-the-field stuff. And I don't know if on this particular play, Peyton Wilson's Steelers defense knew that Addison wasn't still actively suspended because he was wide open like everybody forgot to guard him. And he caught it behind the defense, and Addison goes track star straight down the sideline, right? No, you don't got to worry about making people miss. Just run fast. And basically when he dug down, when the receiver started driving, entered the drive phase of his sprint, Peyton Wilson was probably 4 yards back just at the yard line wise, and between, I'd say, 8 and 10 yards left. So a little bit of an angle, but had to go. And he had about 40 yards to do it. And he just hawked him down. Got the tackle, tripped him up, down inside the 5-yard line. Which some of you may go, yeah, but they gave up the touchdown right after. It doesn't really matter. Guess what? He was tackled inbounds. Clock keeps running. Runs off the better part of a minute. Steelers win at the end with clock winding down in a one-possession game against the Vikings. Big win for the Steelers. They needed every second off that clock. That tackle, 40 seconds of them. You never know. It's a game of inches. Lastly, for me in the Dean's List here, Omarion Hampton. Former UNC running back. This weekend, even last weekend, he had a really productive day for Carolina. This weekend was the first time he looked like himself in the NFL. For those of us that watched him in Chapel Hill and watched him play with Drake May and watched him play without Drake May, and he was this workhorse and he was this explosive back and he popped off the screen. The first 3 weeks of his NFL career were like, wow, he's a little timid, isn't he? A little, because that's not what I'm used to seeing. This weekend was the first time we saw the bruising runs matched with the breakaway speed, matched with the difference-making ability. Now you just hope that it stays, right? But it's possible. He wasn't against the best run defense in the country, and they did end up losing to the Giants in a weird one, but not his fault because he was finally playing Omarion Hampton football. That's it for the Dean's List here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. We have the Dean's List about that time every day, so we'll continue to highlight those that deserve a few extra accolades. In a weird way, we're going to give some more accolades coming up, but we're going to balance it out. It's not just winners, it's winners and losers here on The Drive. Don't go anywhere. But before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. You want to talk winners? How about those of us out there that use Miller Lending for a no closing cost loan? And the reason why you're a winner is because of Scoreboard. We're sports, right? The greatest trash talk in the world is scoreboard, scoreboard. Well, here's the score you need to know about Miller Lending. 0. Pitching a shutout in closing costs. No third-party fees. 0 means 0. That goes for getting your initial mortgage when you buy a house, but also for refis. So how about this? If your mortgage starts with a 7, you need to call Miller Lending right now. I'll give you the number in a second, because with no money out of your pocket, that's that shutout, that 0, that goose egg. With no money out of your pocket, you might be able to lower your monthly payment. That is why they're a winner, and that's why you would be a winner if you use them. So Miller Lending, Gordon Miller, been doing no closing cost loans for decades. They're locally owned, and they want to help you out. So give them a call, 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377, or visit them online at millerlending.com. That's millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, and MLS number 250-2146. We'll take a break. When we come back, winners and losers, as promised. Stick around.
Ready to plug into the future and save big? Charge up the savings at Wilkinson Chevrolet GMC in Sanford with up to $5,500 off a new 2025 Chevrolet Equinox EV-RS. Includes Wilkinson discount and customer cash. See dealer for details. Plus, this is the last month to get in on the $7,500 federal EV tax credit. This electrifying deal ends at the end of this month, so hurry to Wilkinson Chevrolet GMC in Sanford or online at wilkinsoncars.com. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
At Howard Hanna Allen Tate Real Estate, you'll find the same family-owned real estate company you've trusted since 1957. But now they're bigger, better, brighter. They have more agents and more resources, which means more exposure to sell your home. Their proven expertise and innovative tools will help you find the right home around the corner or across the globe. And they invest in our local communities. Their promise to you is a homeownership experience that is different from all others. Visit howardhannatate.com to get started.
It's bow time. Fumbling the food on game day? Rookie move. But you know Bo can make your tailgate a winner, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Because the Carolina Legend has everything you're craving. We're talking crispy, juicy chicken loaded with real Southern flavor, fluffy, scratch-made buttermilk biscuits, and all the fixins to feed your whole crew faster than you can say touchdown. Be the MVP this season and let Bojangles do the cooking. Order your tailgate today. It's Bo time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's Bo time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's Bo time.
Young out of the shotgun, twins right, Renfro to the left. Hubbard is the running back. Bryce takes the bell tie snap. Looking left, throws, back left corner of the end zone. Caught for a touchdown. Tommy Tremble brings it in. 6-0 Carolina. 2 games in a row, Luke. The Panthers on their opening drive march down the field and score.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are inching closer to opening up the phone lines, letting you pick the topic and the direction of the conversation. That's at 4:15. So we'll see you for a Monday sound off at 4:15. In the meantime, it is one of my favorite segments of the week. It's called Winners and Losers.
This team will never lose again.
Winners and losers. This is more vibes. Who's won and who's lost the last week. Scoreboard matters, but aura matters more. Winner. He was a winner on the scoreboard, but this has nothing to do with the actual score. Wake Forest High School's very own Dexter Lawrence. Big man for the New York Giants. Intercepted Justin Herbert, who, by the way, has been playing up until the Giants made him mortal this weekend. Herbert had been playing great. And then he took off on him. He was high-stepping, picking him up and putting him down. Big boy almost scored a touchdown. His near touchdown return, a work of art. He might be the best athlete in the league when taking like pure poundage / athleticism into account. He might be the best athlete in the league. Big boy. Loser. This is a double loser. Team USA Ryder Cup. They lost. Valiant effort on Sunday, but America doesn't give participation trophies.
As soon as the team aspect of it was gone and it became individual, then the U.S. really started cooking. They just can't play as a team.
They lost. They're losers. I hope in 2 years they get to repay the favor on European soil, but until then, come on. And then the secondary loser is Victor Hovland. Withdrawing and getting a free half point, one of the softer things I've heard of. And if you do that, like, let's be real, right? You tear your Achilles or something. You better be on your metaphorical deathbed to withdraw with that kind of lead from the Ryder Cup. And you better not be holding the trophy above your head after the event when you withdrew with a neck injury.
Yeah, like neck stiffness. I don't know how they don't have like an alternate or a
Dumbest
captain.
rule.
Like
Dumbest rule.
A captain could totally. It's golf. Like a captain. Like I get that they're older, but they could probably step in and still play if need be. Like if it was that serious and there was no like real alternate available.
Or if you can't finish, you forfeit the point.
Yeah,
You give it up.
I think in the I read. I think in the Walker Cup, I believe that is
And
the
the
rule. If you
Solheim
withdraw,
Cup
it's a
as well.
full point.
Or how about this? I don't know if this is still the way, but in the drinking game days of my much earlier adulthood, if you were playing like Flip Cup against somebody that their team had 6, yours had 5, somebody's got to play twice. Oh, Rory, you're that good? Go beat somebody and walk back to number 1. Do you have some winners and losers you'd like to throw out here?
Yeah. Pretty clear loser here, James Franklin. Yet another big game, and I predicted this. I'll give myself credit for picking Oregon. James Franklin with the loss against Oregon this weekend now falls to 4-21 against top 10 opponents, 1-15 against the top 5. Not that you're supposed to beat top 5 opponents, but you only won 1 out of 15. That's it's not great. He's 4-17 against Michigan and Ohio State as Penn State's head coach. I just don't understand why Penn State is constantly getting hype as a contender when it's clear that they will, I won't say never, but probably not under James Franklin, ever win a game that's worth anything.
As somebody that may have picked Penn State to win the whole thing preseason, what are the possibilities that was their Ohio State losing to Michigan last year? Ryan Day can't win the big one. Oh, it's all a problem. And now they're about to go run through the everybody on their way to a national championship.
Well, they have to go play at Ohio State still, and they have a game against Indiana, who's looking, pretty darn good this year so far. So he'll have more chances to kind of straighten out his record and try to prove the haters, aka myself, wrong. But I'm not counting on them winning out from here. I think they're definitely dropping the game at Ohio State, and they might lose to Indiana as well.
Do you have a loser you'd like to throw out there, or a winner you'd like to throw out there of any kind?
I've just watched so much losing football.
That's fair.
I'm
That's fair.
State grad. I'm a Panthers fan. This was a tough weekend. I'll give some credit to the Team Europe in the Ryder Cup. Shane Lowry hit a big putt there on 18. And I'll give the U.S. team credit as well because they were live in that for way longer than they should have been. And they actually had me giving a little bit of hope there for a second.
Do you know what might be the most fun place in sports? Like just pure giddy, like 6-year-olds that can't stop laughing? The full team press conference after winning the Ryder Cup.
Oh, yeah. That was funny.
They're all a little buzzed. They're all in their trash talk element because they've been doing it for 3 days. And they just build off of each other. I remember when, long time ago, years and years ago, when the U.S. won, it was always a giggle fest, and then it was again this past weekend.
And there was a winner I wanted to throw out, and it was just Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin, Chambliss, everybody over there. They got a big win against LSU.
Jackson Dart.
Yep. And Jackson Dart continuing the Ole Miss lineage in the NFL on Sunday as well. It was a good weekend for Ole Miss, and they're all the way up to number 4 in the top 25 now. So shout out to the Rebs.
I got a winner. UVA fans. That is as well executed of a field storming as I have ever seen.
Well executed in the number and the speed, but also like
wildly dangerous, and it's going to be a fine.
Has anyone heard from that Florida State receiver?
I assume everyone made it out okay, but if you're a fan, that's like well done. That was almost like they practiced. And by the way, this is just my chance to. I know how to fix the court storming, field storming thing. A 1-minute timer. Once it goes triple zeros, up on the Jumbotron. 60, 59, 58, 57, and everyone's holding each other back like it's Braveheart, right? Like you're all like, no, hold. And that gives the opposing team 1 minute to get their tails into the locker room, into the tunnel if they want to. If they want to stay out there and make themselves suffer through it as motivation, they can do that. But 1 minute is plenty of time. And then once it hits 0, chaos. Then
I like that.
Everybody gets to go nuts.
It's kind of the idea, like Clemson, they don't have like the timer, but theirs is a little more organized, like the meeting at the Paul. So that could be a good that would introduce an element of like a little bit more safety there. So without having to take away the fun of
And in
storming the field.
basketball, it probably only have to be 30 seconds because it's not as many people, not as long of a go. But yeah, but make it like, can you imagine that intensity? 10, 9, a loser. The ACC's understanding of what offsides is. A week after, during the NC State game, CJ Bailey threw a back-breaking interception because his center thought the Duke defensive end was offsides. A week after that, we have the Wake Forest ending where, I mean, by all accounts, it looks like they got robbed pretty good.
Or are they saying, is the reasoning that the official thought the guy jumped back,
got back
in time?
But the right guard was kind of moving. Like, it was, again, I will admit that referees' jobs are difficult. It looks like a third down, which would have given them a first down at the end and pretty much ended the game. Upset win for UVA over ranked Georgia Tech. Ended up just being missed, and then Georgia Tech went on to win. So, I don't know. That seems like one of the easier things to ref is like, did they cross the line? Were they across the line when the ball was snapped? Did somebody move in response to the neutral zone infraction? But who am I to say?
I like, and you said earlier we were talking about NC State. Like, no such thing as moral victories. But I like how Wake Forest went about it. I like that they went for 2 in the win, even though they didn't get it in overtime. Because you like to have a coach that's not afraid to. We're playing to win. Like, we're gonna go for it right now. Like, let's just go and take it.
And I think they knew that if you take the clock out, Georgia Tech gets get back to their bully ball, and you're probably at a disadvantage. So try to end it early. Loser. Panthers special teams. Missed extra point. Gave up a punt return touchdown. Missed field goal. I'm not saying it's the reason why you lost by 100, but it was kind of the catalyst.
It was a reason.
You score on the opening drive. Everything feels great. Great drive. Missed the extra point. It's like, takes a little bit of the love off it. Takes a little bit of the love off it. Then you have the punt return touchdown. All of the love is gone. Then when you're going, just give us something, you miss the field goal. Not the shortest field goal, but you miss it. It's a tough day for the Panthers special team.
I was very surprised to see the 55-yarder go short, considering Ryan Fitzgerald, he made from 57 last week. In college, he's made from like 59. It's not often you see NFL kickers not get it to the goalpost from 55 yards. And I was mad earlier in the game. I think it was the drive before. I was like, they were on the 40. I was like, why are they punting? Like, they should let him kick a field goal. And then on the next one, it was a couple yards shorter, and he didn't get it to the post. So I guess sometimes coaches do know a little bit more than us.
It is to use the golf analogy. It was like, oh, he just had the wrong club, right? It's actually you struck it well and it just landed short. It's like, oh, actually, yeah, you needed to club up maybe 2 clubs there. Last one, and I just want to say it because it needs to be said. The NFL is a loser because how do ties still exist? How are you going to make everybody on Sunday night with a work day the next day stay up till all hours of the night and watch a 40-40 tie? In what was supposed to be a Micah Parsons like revenge game. Who wins? That's supposed to. Somebody's got to leave with the upper hand in the trade, and it was a 40-40 tie.
It was, and we knew too. Me and my roommates were up watching that game last night, and as soon as the Cowboys score the touchdown with 40 seconds left, and they start celebrating like they just won the Super Bowl, we're all like, this game, like the Packers are definitely scoring. There's 40-something seconds left, and they have all 3 timeouts.
And the Cowboys' defense stinks.
Yeah, and they didn't even really need to use the timeouts, I think, until like the last couple plays either. They had already driven into Cowboys territory before they even burned one of them.
They did almost blow it anyway with a random weird last-second seam ball.
The time, the clock management there was bizarre.
But either way, ties are dumb in football. Just go college. I don't care if you play 10 minutes of overtime. Then go college from the 25.
2-point conversions.
Yeah, got to go for
2
point. Yeah, just then go full college. Either way. That's winners and losers here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Monday Sound Off is coming up at 4:15. We will open up the phone lines for your calls, let you lead the conversation. But right at the top of the hour for Football 4, I have a few things I want to get off my chest about the Carolina Panthers before we open up those phone lines. Stick around.
Hey friends, Paul Lyhander from 99.9 The Fan for FanDuel. The FanDuel Sportsbook app is your home for all your favorite NFL bets. Yards, touchdown, who wins, FanDuel, and he plays the play of the game. When the Jets take on the Dolphins and the Bengals and the Broncos hook up tonight, FanDuel will give you, all customers, a 50% profit boost token or two 30% profit boost tokens. That's right. You can get in on the action with a 50% PBT or two 30% PBTs this Monday night. So make FanDuel your go-to app for any snap. Just visit FanDuel.com/Paul to bet the Jets against the Dolphins and the Bengals versus the Broncos with a 50% PBT or two 30% PBTs. Play your game with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. 21 plus and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The 25th anniversary SAS Championship tees off October 10th through 12th at the Prestonwood Country Club. See golf's greatest, Ernie Els, Bernard Longer, Colin Montgomery, and more battle it out right here in the Triangle. This year's celebration is bigger than ever, with fireworks after Food Truck Friday and exciting action from the legends all weekend long. Don't miss golf, food, family fun, and 25 years of memories. Get tickets today at saschechampionship.com. Proceeds benefit the YMCA of the Triangle.
My whole goal in life, make other people's lives easier. Hi, this is Adam Gold. If you are a contact lens or glasses wearer, I can help. Dr. Lori Travers LASIK, the only LASIK specialist in the Triangle, and the best way to make your life easier. 919-510-6830, traverslasik.com. Get rid of the time, the hassle, the potential issues with contact lenses and glasses. Dr. Lori Travers LASIK, 919-510-6830, traverslasik.com.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. We are looking at some scattered showers for today, but watching Tropical Storm Imelda pulling away from the Carolinas. Still, we will end up with some rain on and off today, tonight, and tomorrow, and it will be breezy. We'll see highs in the low 70s today and tomorrow, and tonight's low in the mid-60s.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 74 points to 46,321.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are 15 minutes away from opening up the phone line, so start collecting your thoughts if you haven't done so already. State fans, Panther fans, sports fans in general, we want your takes, and we'll open up the phone lines about 15 minutes. In the meantime, I have some thoughts on the Panthers. I want to be clear on something. I'm not saying Bryce Young will never be a good quarterback. I'm nearly there to say he will never be a good quarterback for the Carolina Panthers, which is part of it. It is. You can like a player and recognize that it's not just the player that ends up being responsible or causing success or failure. It is a combo of team and player for nearly everybody. And it's one of the things I believe wholeheartedly, especially at the quarterback position. At any point in time walking planet Earth, there are 4 or 5 what I call inevitables. These are players that if you were to pick up and drop onto any franchise, anywhere across the league, any college, the flag football men's league team, like they're going to put out a productive offense in every situation just by nature of them being them. And right now, it's the Mahomes, it's the Allen, it's the Lamar. Like, there's not many at any point in time. Every other player is what I call situational. There is something in their situation that they need. And if they don't have that thing or those things in their situation that they need, they can't make it work. That's how you end up with players who are busts, and then they go play for a certain team, and suddenly they look like geniuses. And it's like, well, they didn't have this, and now they do. And then it goes vice versa, right? Then you go like think Geno Smith is a good example. Geno Smith was a bust in multiple locations. He goes to Seattle, he's a $100 million quarterback. Goes to the Raiders, all he can do is throw interceptions. There was something in that situation with the Seahawks that worked. It was probably DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, or DK Metcalf and Jackson Smith and Jigba. Like, it probably was they had guys that were making plays down the field, and Geno Smith can launch it. Now he's got like a tight end in Brock Bowers, and he's got a running back, but he doesn't have those true downfield threats, and it's not working as well. No disrespect to Jacoby Myers. I know NC State fans are clinging on to good right now. He is a very good player, but he's not the downfield threat that DK is. Bryce Young needs an offense and a play caller and a group that is kind of custom built to him. He is an unusual quarterback. I'm not saying he's bad. He is unusual. He's small, first of all. His superpower has nothing to do with having the strongest arm. What he can do is be accurate when in rhythm, and when he gets into a rhythm, he can be really good for stretches. Like, that's his thing. At Alabama, it would take him maybe a drive or two to complete 3 passes in a row, and then once he did, it was right. Then he was off to the races. With the Panthers, he doesn't have a play caller that believes in him, and I think it's pretty obvious at this point that Dave Canales doesn't trust him to sling it. And he doesn't have a group of players around him that are built just to get him rolling.
Yeah, I mean, there's like it doesn't help that there's like 3 healthy wide receivers
for the
Panthers right now.
And even, like, I'm a big fan of Teterow McMillan. Teterow McMillan is high risk, high reward. He's dropping some. I'm not going to hide from it, right? I'm not going to excuse him from it. But he is much more of I'll make crazy plays, like the one on the sideline. I'll make crazy plays like he's already made in his first month, and I might drop an easy one. If you're somebody that needs to see 3 go through the hoop before you start catching fire, that's a bad wide receiver to have for you. It's so obvious that Dave Canales and Bryce Young,
they're not on the same page.
There's even a bit of distrust there.
Yeah, I mean, and that's obvious when they bust out the most frustrating, just 3rd and long, dives up the middle with Rico Dowdle in plus territory. I wanted to, I mean, I probably should have turned the game off when that happened, but I wanted to just walk away and stop watching the game after that. It's just, I understand you might have some concerns about, getting too aggressive. And maybe there have been some issues with the line because there's injuries there as well. But you're basically giving up when you call that play.
If there were, like, let's go to a mythical world here. This is a fantasy novel, Harry Potter world of some kind. If every NFL owner at one time, every decade, got to use a truth serum, got to just take an injection, put it into anybody of their choosing, and ask 3 questions. I would use it when hiring a coach, and the question I would ask is, do you actually believe in this quarterback wholeheartedly? Because when you're trying, when Dave Canales is trying to be a Panthers head coach, it's not like he had 10 offers to be a head coach and he got to pick his guy, right? If he would have said no to the Panthers, there's a good chance he still wouldn't be a head coach. So, of course, do you believe in Bryce? Well, you're not going to move on from Bryce. You just drafted him, 1st overall pick, traded. Yeah, I love that guy. I can't wait. Oh, they weren't using him right last year. Here, he's great. And if you don't actually believe it, you're going to be 2 years in. You're going to have 3rd and 11. You're going to have the play call in your brain that is the best, and you're going to go, I can't call that. This guy can't do that. All right, let's run the draw. Let's run another screen that he can dirt into the ground. When you want to be a head coach, you'll say anything. Even, yeah, that guy's great, I'll fix him. And then you hire him, and you realize it's not the same, and it doesn't work out. Meanwhile, there may have been a coach out there. Maybe there's an offensive guru-ish player out there or coach out there that really did believe in Bryce, and then you would see a different beast, but it's not there. And then add to it that you're looking across the field on Sunday, and you've been looking for a quarterback with the it factor, with the forget it, I'll do it myself factor for years, and you see Drake May. And he's from your state. And he played college in your state. And he grew up a fan of your team. And he's scoring a touchdown against you and breaking out the iconic celebration of your icon, Cam Newton. He's doing the Superman celebration as an homage to your icon, your MVP. And you're going, feel like we should have known about him a bit earlier, huh? Feel like maybe we shouldn't have been in a rush to trade up for a quarterback the previous year when we knew that guy was coming up. And, oh, by the way, you could have taken him with that pick. Or Caleb Williams, who looks rejuvenated. Or Jaden Daniels, who's been great from the beginning. They're like, oh, yeah, huh. But we got this guy that we don't believe in, huh?
Well, I think it's important, though, when we're having these Bryce Young discussions, that it's important to acknowledge that, like, multiple things can be true at the same time. Like, obviously, Bryce Young has not played to his full potential.
Okay.
But
I feel like you were about to be complimenting to Bryce.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, I don't know exactly which way, because obviously he is not the only problem with this team. But he's not really contributing to the solution either with his play. So multiple things can be true at the same time. They're both, the coaching and the support around him is lackluster, and it does need to be better. But Bryce needs to be better as well. If you're a first overall pick, I understand you're working with limited resources, but you got to show that talent. They traded and maybe they shouldn't have. Obviously, it's
definitely shouldn't have, but continue.
It's a controversial move, and it has been since the day they made it. If you're going to be that guy that they make that big move to get, and you're this guy who's hyped up to be this elite processor, this elite talent who sees the field great, and you're able to overcome your limitations when it comes to size, so much so that you become the first overall pick, like, you have to show that talent. You have to be able to elevate some. I'm not expecting you to carry the whole team and turn them into the best offense in the NFL, and I know that you're limited by some of the play calling, but you have to elevate them somewhat.
I want to be clear on this, and that's why I said I'm not saying Bryce will never be a good quarterback. I'm saying I don't think it'll happen in Carolina. Carolina doesn't need a good quarterback. There are a lot of teams out there that would kill. They would do heinous things for a good quarterback. I don't think Carolina needs a good quarterback. They need a program changer. They need a culture shifter. They need one of those guys that can come in and be so good that David Tepper can learn to be an owner while they're winning on the field, that the defense can figure out what they need to figure out while getting support.
Yes.
Somebody that can watch the punt return, take the wind out of their sails after a great start, and instead of just going with the flow of the avalanche downhill, can look around and, to use a Cam Newton cliche, a GIF that's out there, nod aggressively one time and go grab the ball. And if that's not in you, it's not in you, because there's nothing worse than somebody pretending that's them, right?
Yeah.
You have to authentically be that, and we see it every couple of years. It happens. If it's not Bryce, it's not Bryce. That's no disrespect to him. It's not any of us statistically.
Yeah.
There's like 4 or 5 of them at any point in time. That's what Carolina needs to turn it around. This isn't like, you see this on, you probably don't do this yet, but watching HGTV, all those shows.
I mean, I would watch them with my mom growing up.
Yeah, there you go. That tracks. When people are like into buying a fixer-upper, and what they really want is something that's like, oh, I can paint a couple rooms and maybe redo a bathroom. And then what they get when they get a fixer-upper is like, oh, the foundation is broken, the beams in the ceiling are coming down, there's mold in the attic, and we're going to have to strip this thing to the studs. Like, there's 2 different skill sets there. The Panthers and Panthers fans are acting like as long as we have somebody who's willing to work on the weekends and has a roller for their paint, we should be good to go. He's trying hard. And I'm going, no, you need like a backhoe. You need somebody with some certifications, with some licenses here and some power tools. Like this is not you need a cement truck out front and a dumpster in the driveway for like weeks.
You need to call up Maynard Services. Instead, you got the kid from down the street with his tractor.
This ain't my dad was handy, let me give him a call. This is we might burn the house down if we make one false step. And Bryce is more of like he's handy. He can help an offense, right? 2 willing hands if you give him pizza and beer. No, you need a professional for this. You need Cam Newton. You need Joe Burrow. You need Josh Allen. You need somebody that's going to walk into a moribund franchise and walk out a winner.
The problem is
they don't grow on trees.
Yes, they don't grow on trees. And if they ever got in a position where, okay, they decide we're moving on, we're going to draft the next hot quarterback, do we have faith that Dan Morgan and David Tepper and everyone involved in making that decision would draft the right guy?
I think if they had the first overall pick when Cam Newton was there, if they had the first overall pick when Joe Burrow was there, if they had the first overall pick when some of these obvious ones are there, yes. And then you have to get lucky. I don't think the Chiefs thought Patrick Mahomes was Patrick Mahomes. I think they drafted him and went, whoa.
But that's kind of a different situation, right? Because you've got a team that's already got the great coach in place that's already successful.
We're going to move on to open up the phone lines. But also, I think if Patrick Mahomes was drafted to the Browns right now,
well, he'd be good.
He'd be a winner. I think he is an inevitable. He didn't have to, but I think he could have. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Phone lines are open. Heister Automotive Group Hotline, 919-860-5326. Call in now. Panthers talk. Whatever opinions you have about the Panthers, state, whatever else you want to talk about in the sports world, 919-860-5326. Our guy Max will be lining up the calls, so be patient with him, but we'll take your calls, your opinions coming up next. Stick around.
Dennis Cox here for Loan Pronto. Folks, are you trapped in a high-rate mortgage, maybe watching all your hard-earned money vanish away every single month? Well, stop. Right now, at Loan Pronto, they are delivering the lowest mortgage rates in 3 years. Loan Pronto's rate reduction home loan program is a streamlined, low-cost way to slash your house payments by hundreds of dollars a month. Lock in a fixed rate as low as 4.99% APR and close in as little as 2 weeks. No appraisal needed in most cases, and here's the kicker. You can skip your next 2 house payments entirely. Don't wait. Rates this low won't last. Call Loan Pronto now for your free, no-obligation quote. Imagine this. Lower payments, more money in your pocket, and a fresh start with a better mortgage. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com to lock in your new low rate and skip those next 2 payments. Don't let high rates hold you back. Call 919-381-1760 or go to loanpronto.com right now. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Tonight, your forecast calls for Hurricanes hockey.
Kotkaniemi shoots and scores! Svechnikov puts it onto the tape, and Kotkaniemi whistles it past Tarasov.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 5:30. Puck drop at 6.
Shot on front, they score on the power play. Logan Stankoven with the net front.
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
Hey, it's Brian from McDonald's. And if you're like me, you're a don't talk to me until I get my cup of coffee person. Sarah knows that very well. That's why I treat myself to McDonald's. And right now, you can grab any sized iced coffee for just $1. Maybe you need something extra. Go for a hot or iced mocha, latte, or macchiato for $2. And if you're really feeling fancy, for $3, you can get a caramel or mocha frappe. Easy as 1, 2, 3. $1, $2, $3. Any size, every morning, during breakfast hours only. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Nobody beats a Fairway Green lawn. Kevin, what can Fairway Green do this time of the year for our yards?
Yes, many people do not realize that fall is the time to seed your fescue, not in the spring. Fall is the time to go ahead and get out there and do a core aeration seeding. Go ahead and put down a good quality fertilizer at the same time.
How can we get started right away?
Yes, visit fairwaygreen.com. We'll be out there within 3 to 4 business days. We'll leave a very detailed lawn analysis that I'm sure you'll be quite impressed with.
Great. You can also call Fairway Green, 919-329-0095.
Don't miss Bailey's Fall Antique and Vintage Jewelry Show October 7th through 11th. Search through hundreds of vintage necklaces, rings, bracelets, earrings, and more to discover your unique jewelry treasure. Visit Bailey's Fine Jewelry on October 7th in Rocky Mount, October 8th in Greenville, October 9th in Cary, or October 10th and 11th in Raleigh's Village District to find your perfect piece of jewelry history. Visit BaileyBox.com for details.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for a Monday Sound Off. We will open up the phone lines. Matter of fact, they are open. Lines are full. So if you didn't get through, call in after a few minutes. Lines will open up as the segment goes on. Phone number to call, Heister Automotive Group Hotline, 919-860-5326. The irony in our first caller being Dave in Four Oaks. I joked earlier today that if you're complaining about coaching in football and you're from the state of North Carolina today, be more specific than just the first name Dave, because I just want to know which conversation we're having here, right? Doeren or Canales. Dave in Four Oaks is first up. He wants to sound off on the Panthers and state, so he fits right in with both Daves. Dave, welcome to the show. The floor is yours. Go ahead and sound off.
Yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying about coaching, play calling, what you said so far. I'm totally being an armchair quarterback here, but I feel like, oh gosh, I'm lost now.
All right, try to describe it. We'll try to help you out.
Their failures are, in my opinion, due to play calling. All these athletes, pro and college, are highly skilled athletes. The coaches have to put them in position to accomplish what they want to accomplish. The Panthers' identity is supposed to be keep pounding. Let's pound. They've got two running backs who are can be explosive, who can be successful, and play action off of that. I think Baltimore's problems are play calling. The Baltimore Ravens. Even the pass with the Cowboys last night that was on the highlight reels, the quarterback missed the running back right in front of him instantly. A great pass, great comeback by the receiver, but I don't know. I don't know how to pinpoint what I'm trying to really.
All right, we appreciate it, Dave. Call back in anytime. There's no doubt that play calling. There's a huge gap in the NFL and in college between the teams that have great play callers and the teams that have even just slightly above average play callers. I've long said, and it's one of my, when I hit the Powerball 7 times in a row and I can afford an NFL team, when I'm the owner, I am spending a ton of money to have the best play caller. I'm telling Andy Reid or Kyle Shanahan or Sean McVay or Matt, whoever you think is the best play caller, I'm giving them a blank check. Because it's outside the realm of the salary cap, so I can spend more than everybody else just by being a billionaire, and it impacts the game in a huge way. Back to the call-in line for a Monday Sound Off. We go to Aaron and Zeblin. Aaron, you want to sound off on Bryce Young, and we want to hear it. Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, I kind of disagree with the whole coaching scenario because we've already been through this with Frank Reich. We fired all the coaches. We put Dave Canales in during the Bryce Young era. It's not working, and now what are we going to do? Get a third coach and a whole new coaching staff? That's a completely different that's a wrong direction to take. This is what I think we should do. I think we should get next year. If we go out losing it in a bad season this year, get a quarterback. Play behind Bryce next year. Let him finish out his rookie contract, and that way it will give Bryce some pressure on the back end because remember last year he didn't play good until after Dalton started as he had pressure on the back end. And I think that's an element that's missing with Bryce is that he don't feel that pressure that, hey, my job is on the line. he needs to feel that pressure next year. And I don't think we need to burn down the house again to try to fit around Bryce Young. I think we need to put some pressure behind him and see where it goes from there.
I have a few things I just want to point out to you that make that a difficult deal. Under that scenario, Dave Canales is going to be a big part of the decision makers on who you draft at quarterback, correct?
Correct.
So now if Dave doesn't work out and you'd be going into year 3 with Dave, you'd be bringing in a different coach to coach the guy that Dave drafted, which is exactly kind of the issue that happened with Bryce, correct?
Yes.
So you'd be comfortable committing to Dave Canales for another 3 or 4 years from this point forward?
You know, who are we going to get? I mean, the pool for coaching is not out there. It's not like, and we got Andy Reid's out there. I mean, John Gruden maybe. That's the only one I can think of that's even close to even being, you know, to that caliber of a coach. But I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, getting 3 coaches in the era of Bryce Young's rookie career is just ridiculous. We don't need to burn down the house. We need some stability. And another thing I want to put out there is, remember, Bryce Young isn't Dave Canales' quarterback.
Yep.
He was supposed to come in and try to, you know, massage Bryce into having that starting role, and he's not working out. I think the Panthers should give Canales an opportunity to draft his quarterback, what he wants his quarterback and envisions his quarterback to be. I mean, he was thrown into a dumpster fire.
I appreciate the call. Call back in any time. The hard part about what the caller is saying there is you've already given Dave Canales 2 years. If you let him choose the next quarterback and you don't want to pull the switcheroo on the next quarterback, you then have to commit to, say, 3 years more of Dave Canales, which that's a long time to commit to a guy who, quite frankly, hasn't done the job well, right? If just looking at winning, losing, point spreads, everything else. It's tough. And if you draft a quarterback next year and try to keep Bryce, then that is a highly drafted resource that you didn't use to help Bryce, right? Where it could have been a offensive lineman or a defensive player that could make his job easier. It's now just the guy who's on the bench not helping your team at all while he's watching Bryce play. Let's get to Aaron in Fayetteville, wants to sound off on the Patriots game for the Panthers. Aaron, welcome to the show. Go ahead and sound off.
Yeah, thanks for the weekly therapy session. The score honestly did not hurt me nearly as bad as the Drake May celebration. That hit me on so many levels. You know, it took me back to 2015, back when we had fun playing football. And it really, I think, just kind of underlined that there is just a massive problem with this organization from the top down. You could be blindfolded and throw a dart at a dartboard with all the problems the Panthers have. But I think one of the big ones is very intangible, and it was something you touched base on a little bit earlier, is, you know, the energy, the grit that I think Cam brought, and just seeing someone pay homage to one of our icons when, from the sounds of it, even our own organization isn't paying homage to him. It's just, it kind of hurts on so many levels. I know it was all love, but it just kind of hurt a lot more than that final score did, in my opinion. So I think we need to have a cultural change. I don't know how you would even go about doing that, but something's got to change at our, core, I think.
I appreciate the call, and I'm right there with you. I don't know how I would feel if I were a Panther watching somebody do the Cam Newton celebration, but I do think I would want to score and do it back, if that makes any sense. Like if I'm a Raven and I'm playing against a team and they do the Ray Lewis squirrel dance, I'm going to want to make sure that I do it better. Like, that's ours. That's not yours. I appreciate the homage that you're paying, but it's not good enough. We need to be better. Again, this is a Monday Sound Off. The Heister Automotive Group hotline is open for your calls, 919-860-5326. We have Edward and Wendell up next. He wants to sound off on the NC State Wolfpack. So, Edward, welcome back to the show. Go ahead and take it from here.
I think we do need to fire Dave. I said it. I called it before the season. Those 3 first wins were baby wins. If you lose to Virginia Tech, I get that that's a game you have to win. I get thoughts and prayers with Coach Elliott and his loss with his daughter. So I get that defense might have not been the best, but still, you got to beat Virginia Tech. Also, this goes on with our Ryder Cup loss. NC State and the Ryder Cup team are the same. Dave Doeren and the Ryder Cup team are like the same. We've lost 2 in a row Ryder Cups. We need a cultural change there and probably put an old guy in like Phil Mickelson, but they're not going to do a lift. So we need to figure out an older dude, like a dude who's been in the game more than Dave Doeren, that could help our team get better. And we need because Dave Doeren isn't cutting it when you lose to Virginia Tech, even though you're supposed to win that game. And then the offense is so inconsistent. Like the Duke game, score a touchdown first play, then defense gives up one, then the next offensive drive, boom, we just throw a pick. And it's just so frustrating to watch State lose all this time.
All right, Edward, I always appreciate you calling in. You do a great job. Edward is ruthless, and I respect that about him. But I'll throw this out there. I mean, the best offenses in the world go touchdown, not touchdown on back-to-back drives occasionally. You're not going to score every time out there. It's you wish, you hope, but it's not usually that easy. And also, I think most fans, this is where Edward maybe zags when everybody else zigs, wants like the new idea, the forward-thinking, the progressive coach. He's going, no, we need to go older. We got the 4th, 5th longest tenured coach in the country.
3 yards in a cloud of dust.
Yeah,
baby.
We want Bear Bryant out there. We need somebody that's been around the block. Let's go to Sean in Virginia. Sean, next up on the Easter Automotive Group hotline. Welcome to the show. You want to sound off on the Panthers? We want to hear it. Go ahead.
Absolutely. So I appreciate it. So I did a little bit of homework last night. Bryce Young, in every start he's had in Carolina, has thrown, on average, 1.1 touchdowns per game, whereas Andy Dalton has thrown 1.5 per start. Now, I'm not advocating to start Andy Dalton, but I think we see a lot more of Dave Canales' play-calling style and a different game plan in every game that Dalton started last year. So it's hard for me to blame all of the negative play-calling on the offense on Dave Canales. None of us expected to have a good defense, so we can go ahead and throw that part out of the loop. But we did expect to have a good offense, and I think Bryce Young is a lot of the issue there. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it.
I'll give you my thoughts on it. I appreciate the call. This is really, really, really hard to decipher without being on the headset on game day because we could say the offense looks better or more efficient or whatever you want with Andy Dalton calling the shots, but what we don't know is, does Dave Canales call different plays, right? Does he put players in different situations because he trusts Andy Dalton more? If he is inherently being more conservative when Bryce Young is the quarterback, and then when Andy Dalton's in, he finally feels freed up because it's a veteran who he trusts, who's seen everything, that is a different beast, right? Because if you look at the guys, right, he was brought in because he did good work on an offensive staff that helped Geno Smith in Seattle and because he was the offensive coordinator that did good stuff with Baker Mayfield in Tampa. Those guys are both veterans that had seen a lot by the time they worked with him. So maybe he just is inherently calling plays different that Andy Dalton. Then it's like, oh, look, Andy's doing so much better. If you don't trust Bryce, you're not going to put him in the best situation to win. Isaiah in Boston is next up on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. Isaiah, welcome to the show. Go ahead and sound off.
What's up, Tim? Just wanted to call and say, man, you guys do a great job on 99 The Fan. I really appreciate the show. I want to sound off on the Carolina Panthers. It's been tough. So I'm out in the Boston area. I went to the game yesterday. Top to bottom, we just need a refresh, man. I think we're in a tough spot. We're not a sexy market, so we don't have any big names that are looking to come to us. And if they do come to us, it's going to have to be an overpay, which is tough. I think there's nobody on our team. Even when we had Cam, we might win 8 games, but we had somebody. We had a guy. We had some swag. We just don't have any of that at all on our team. And just been tough to watch. So, man, just want to hear your thoughts on that.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much for calling in. All the way up there from Boston, enemy territory. Thank you. I saw this on Twitter, and I don't necessarily agree with it, but I could see why you would if you said it. One fan said, if we're going to be bad, we better at least be fun. And from an entertainment standpoint, I get it, right? If we're going to be bad, we better at least sling the rock or give Tedero McMillan a chance to be highlights or run trick plays, right? At least give me something to giggle or laugh about if you're not going to make me smile for winning. I tend to go win first. And then, if you can work in some fun as it goes along. But it's never been more obvious that a team is not having a great time playing football than, the first 10 minutes after a big play by the other team for the Carolina Panthers. Alex in Charlotte is up next, all the way from Charlotte. We'll go to Alex next. He wants to sound off on the Panthers. Alex, take it away.
Hey, guys. Just want to thank you for letting me on the show. And I want to go on a little rant here if you guys don't mind.
Go for it. Well, we'll reel you in if we need to.
Sure. I mean, injuries are a big deal, but let's start with Bryce Young being 1-15 on the road lifetime, which is horrific as is. So you think you're going to fix him at home. And apparently, according to the Falcons, he's a Super Bowl winning MVP, but to everybody else, he's average. And this year, I mean, between the 2-minute drill, which I think I called in last week about, but also, I mean, there's no urgency. You saw it at the end of last year. There was urgency. People were trying to get to the line. People were trying to get a playoff. There's none of that this year, and I don't know what the reason is. And then, just going back to the defense, we have the worst pass rush in the NFL. We have the worst linebackers rating-wise by PFF in the NFL. We have a secondary that is hot or cold any given week. EJ is afraid to put people in, and when he does put people in, he puts in DJ Johnson, who is as clueless could be. So, you think maybe we're going to turn things over. But you look in the QB draft. The QB draft is horror awful this year. And you look in the coaching section, and the coaching is not as good either. I mean, I don't know. There's no light at the end of this tunnel. And bottom line is this. If you're going to put a coach, who would it be? If you're going to put a DC, who would it be? I would like Schwartz, but he doesn't seem like he's going to leave Cleveland for anything. So you have a quarterback that's inept, a coach that doesn't know how to get his players motivated anymore, the leaders in the locker room, which Robert Hunt was doing every interview after the games last year, he's not even in the locker room anymore, and there's no urgency, and there's no light at the end of the tunnel. So you would think you would trade for players and draft picks, but we gave away Christian McCaffrey for Tommy Tremble and nothing, and we gave away all of our picks for a first-round pick, including DJ Moore. So I'm a realist, not an optimist or pessimist, but unless there's a change of ideals in the locker room, there's really not much to do right here. So I don't know what I can say about this, but what is your take? I mean, what would you change?
Thank you very much for the call. That is, the $1 trillion question. What I would say is when you frame it the way the caller just did, it's Everest. It's insurmountable. It's looking at the top and saying it's impossible. What you have to do is, and this is the most cliche I will ever be, is find a problem and solve it. And then find the next one and solve it. And then find the next one and solve it. You're not going to fix what the Panthers have going on in a day. You're not going to fix it in a draft class, which is why I think it's imperative that when you hire a new GM or a head coach, that they give you a plan that they fully believe in over 3 or 4 years, and you almost make it public. And you ask for that patience, and you stay to it. This group, there are a lot of quick fixes. And when the quick fixes don't work, you're in trouble. Trading up to the number 1 pick is the definition of a quick fix. It's the definition of a quick fix. All you had to do was wait 1 year. A little bit of patience, you would have had the first overall pick for free. Instead, you gave up everything for it. You gained a year. There's no quick fix. It's like the money stuff, right? It's, you get a text from a buddy. Listen, give me $10,000. I'll turn it into $10 million in 6 months. I got a hot tip on trading gold futures in Zimbabwe. And it's like, I don't think that's true. But I think if I put it in a appropriately risky stock account, I think I can grow this money slowly over time, and I could be just fine by retirement. Like, that's how you build. And then if you get lucky, bank error in your favor, collect $200, say thank you. Oh, look at this, a 5th-round pick turned into Puka Nacua. Great, accelerate, right? But it's not going to end up being, decisions you made as much as it's going to be just getting 1% better every day. We'll rip through some of these quickly. Hunter in Raleigh wants to sound off on the Panthers. Hunter, take it away.
Hey, thank you guys for letting me on the show. Always appreciate what you guys do.
Thank you.
As much as I love the person and that Dave Canales is and the person that Bryce Young is, this isn't going to work out. I think the only bright spot that the Panthers really have, and the only person I really trust to say let this person who's been in our culture try to keep rebuilding this is Dan Morgan, because, if you fire a coach right now, it's not going to do you any good. We have a former head coach on our staff that actually did pretty good with the Lions, with Jim Caldwell, but he can be a year or less anyway, just to try to change the culture a little bit, like what Steve Wilkes did. But I'm kind of on the mindset too of saying, look, we might not be bad for one more year because this draft is not going to be good for quarterback, and we're better off just trying to say, well, we go get a free agent quarterback for temporary and let them sit behind Bryce Young and see if they do bad, then we put them back in. But if not, then guess what? We set up the next draft to go in when the quarterback draft is actually going to be good.
I appreciate the call, and we're going to have to rip through some of these. But the thought process is there that once you – like if you decide, and I'm not saying they will or they should or they have to decide at this moment. If you decide to burn it down and start over, you're not thinking about next year. You're thinking about 2 or 3 years down the road. If you don't have a quarterback for next year, you go get a bridge, something cheap, a mid-round pick, Hendon Hooker if he's exciting you in practice, and you prepare for the following year. And it stinks, and fans will hate you, but you got to take your medicine. If you make bad decisions over and over again, at some point you got to wear that. Let's hit Steve in Raleigh. Steve in Raleigh, you're next up on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. Go ahead and sound off.
Thanks for taking my call. Best show on the radio.
Thank you. I appreciate that. What do you got for us?
My 67th birthday today.
Congratulations. Happy birthday.
Thank you so much. But I have been a fan of small market, small college football teams where coaches were paid to make it happen with who they have. I think, your cards have been dealt to this point and everything. Something's got to be done unconventional, somebody that's going to work with what they have, and I think that's in the form of offensive coordinator. And I think the best person I've ever seen has been Steve Logan down at East Carolina. He took every year. He only had so much to work with. He got players that were the 4th pick after all the triangle schools and all that, and he made his offense work with what he had. You got to get one of these young coordinators that are going to do something different. I haven't seen a jerk route, quick passes, anything like that. I see the same old thing. We don't have the line to run it conventionally. We can't run the long pass plays because he doesn't have time back there. You got to have somebody like that that's going to say, okay, this is what I got to work with. I'm going to make this offense work. And I saw Logan do it for 10, 12 years. He still has the best record I think they've ever had down there. But that's what you got to have in some kind of offense coordinator. We're not going to be able to overnight stop people. So you got to get somebody that's inventive and will do something with the offense.
I appreciate the call. We're up against it, so we got to let you go. But great call. I think it's harder to do at the NFL level. I think it's harder to just say hey, we're gonna we have this 5 running backs I like. Let's run the wing T, because at the NFL the defenses are so athletic, they're so fast. The gimmicks don't always work. Might work for a little. They don't work for a long time. You know what? We're going to keep the phone lines open going into the next break. We have to take a quick break here, but we have enough of the lines lit up here that we're going to give at least those callers a chance to be heard on air. So if you're on the line, stay on hold. If you want to call in, 919-860-5326. More of Monday Sound Off coming up next.
Son, do you know what time it is?
Your father and I were waiting all night for you to come home.
I'm sorry. So we could tell you that you're eligible to become a member of Navy Federal Credit Union. Wait, what?
Since your dad's a veteran, our whole family can join and get exclusive savings, discounts, and award-winning service.
Thank you. Now go to your room and think about what we said.
All veterans and their families are eligible. Join today. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCAA.
Welcome home from Baker Home Exteriors. Your home is not just where you live, it's where life happens. We're proud to continue Baker Roofing's century-long legacy of excellence, bringing that same dedication to your home. Whether it's roofing, siding, gutters, or more, we transform houses into the homes you've always dreamed of. Your home deserves nothing less. Visit BakerHomeExteriors.com and let's build something beautiful together. That's BakerHomeExteriors.com.
Hey folks, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. I've been on the program at Raleigh Weight Loss Center for just about 2 months now, and I'm proud to say that I've lost nearly 40 pounds. And it's something that I can sit there and say, and I look in the mirror, that I put the work in to do it. And I know a lot of people want to put the work in, but they don't know how. They don't know where to go. And this is what Raleigh Weight Loss Center gives you. They give you a plan. They tell you, if you follow this, you can see results. It's that simple. Stay dedicated, stay disciplined, and you can see results. And I have been able to do that through the program at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. It's direct, it's straightforward, it's easy to follow, and I've lost nearly 13% of my body weight as a result. Visit RaleighWeightLossCenter.com or schedule your free 15-minute phone call to learn more. Ask any questions, determine if it's the right fit for you. Visit RaleighWeightLossCenter.com or give them a call, 919-897-7506, 919-897-7506. Results may vary.
It's bow time. Fumbling the food on game day? Rookie move. But you know Bo can make your tailgate a winner, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Because the Carolina Legend has everything you're craving. We're talking crispy, juicy chicken loaded with real Southern flavor, fluffy, scratch-made buttermilk biscuits, and all the fixins to feed your whole crew faster than you could say touchdown. Be the MVP this season and let Bojangles do the cooking. Order your tailgate today. It's Bo time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's Bo time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's Bo time.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. As promised, we're going to jump right back into a Monday Sound Off. We'll take this up till the end of this segment, and we're actually, I don't know if I've said this yet, we're actually off air a little early today because of the Canes preseason game, which can be heard right here on 99.9 The Fan. So we'll take this up to the basically the top of the hour, and then we'll have to move on. But we want to hear from as many of you as possible. I know you got a lot to say, so let's jump right in. William in Durham. Bryce Young versus Drew Brees is what's in the notes here. So, William, I can't wait to hear what you have to say. Go ahead and sound off.
Yes, Drew Brees was very successful, so I think the Panthers need to watch some tape of Drew Brees. One thing they would do is a big pass rush. They would move Drew Brees back 4 or 5 yards to give him an extra second or two to throw. Plus, that would open up wider throwing lanes. And love the show. I want to give a shout-out to my Blue Devils football.
There you go.
Love the show. Way better than Adam Gold.
All right. We appreciate the love for our show. We also support the heck out of our guy, Adam Gold, here at 99.9 The Fan. But Drew Brees, actually, it's funny we talked about it. Right now, every time a backfield has a fast guy and a big guy, we go, it's David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. They are just the go-to comparison. It's happening all across sports. And that's all levels. It's like if you have a fast guy and a big guy, even if the big guy's fast and the fast guy's big, like as long as you have two people that have slightly different skill sets in the backfield, it's Jahmyr Gibbs and it's David Montgomery. That's what you're trying to do. Drew Brees is a smaller height-wise quarterback. He has made unbelievably high expectations for so many 5'10" quarterbacks out there in the world. Drew Brees ain't normal, everybody. It can't just be, hey, do it like Drew Brees did it. He's not normal. Remember Sports Science back in the day, the ESPN deal?
I love that show.
They did a Sports Science on Drew Brees where he was throwing it to a target, I think it was like 15 yards away, and they slowed it down. And the ball was rotating like spiral, the exact same. It was like, 7.76 rotations every time. And he was hitting it in the center every time. He's not normal, right? It's no different than people nowadays going like, oh, he has shades of Mahomes, run the Chiefs offense. It's like, well, that's not going to work because Mahomes brings something that nobody else can bring. Let's see what John in Raleigh can bring. He's on the call-in line next. John in Raleigh wants to sound off on NC State. John, take it away.
Oh, I could talk to you for an hour, but I won't. I'm going to preface loyalty that Dave Doeren is talking about to start with.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a member of the Wolfpack Club for 38 years. I have lifetime season rights, football tickets for that time. I am also a baseball ticket holder, a men and women's basketball season ticket holder. I am in the NIL both monthly and annually. I am an alumni from NC State, so I am loyal. First of all, three things. Dave Doeren, he said last year or the year before he was going to open up the offense. It had changed in college football. You can't rely on defense. I haven't seen that. Offense wins the games now, not defense. We're lucky 2 games this year, all the way on 4th down, and we held them. And the interception, we held them another game, else we'd have 2 more losses. Second point, offense is always short passes. We dink and dunk until we have to open it up. We may throw one down the field. I could get into weeds, but I'm not, except for it goes all the way back past 2018, the bowl game against A&M. The announcers before the game even started said NC State needs to open up their offense. They throw these short passes. The D-backs are really good. They're going to pick them off. We had 5 interceptions that day with Fentley, and we lost 50-something to 14 or whatever. Point 3. All this is going to change if something doesn't happen. We're losing our parking places starting next year. Tailgating is huge at NC State. Mm-hmm. I can tell you all the people around me, at least 10, 15 of them that I know, if they lose their parking places and we can't put a good product, not a great, a good product on the field, they're giving it all up. So that's the next thing I'd worry about, and I'll be talking about that probably next year or the year after when I lose mine.
You know what? I love the call. Thank you very much, John. 38 years, you have more time in than many of us, so I respect the longevity there. Just because I remember the Ryan Finley game, I remember watching it. I brought it up quickly there because 5, I was like, I don't remember 5. He had 2 interceptions in that game, so I don't maybe 5 turnovers. Let me look it up real quick. I just want to make sure we, as a former quarterback, if I threw 2 interceptions and someone was walking around saying I threw 5, I'd want somebody to correct that. It was just the 2 turnovers in that one, but State did lose 52-13. The other thing is money makes the world go round. If you lose your spot, I'm not advocating for it. And by the way, my cousin played here. I played for NC State. I know the tailgating scene. It's a blast. If it lets you afford a quarterback, if it somehow makes you more money, if it somehow increases your standing, I think that's a trade-off you got to make. But I'm not telling you not to be upset about it. Not at all. You've got more time in than I do, and that makes sense. Micah in Morrisville wants to sound off on the Carolina Hurricanes. I was waiting for Micah. Obviously, you called a couple fights from Giovanni Smith. Preseason's rolling down. Micah, what do you have for us?
Yeah, I just wanted to switch it up from the negative Panthers talk. It's exhausting and sad. But, yeah, so I'll start with Bradley Nadeau. He's obviously played, I think, actually every single preseason game, and it's super exciting watching him. He started out really rough. I know you guys have talked about that, but I mean, the past 2 games he's shown his potential, and he's really making a statement. And he plays again tonight. The past 2 games he's been with, I think he was with KK and Svetch, and he had a bunch of dangerous opportunities. And then last night he was with other NHLers, Stankoven and Blake, and he netted 2 goals. And he's making a serious case of why he should be in the Canes' top 6. He shouldn't be in the lineup. If he makes the team, he should be in the top 6 for sure. So that's pretty impressive. And then I think then it brings the question of who's out. And I think, I mean, Jankowski, I don't love him, but it really will be – Jankowski's already going to be scratched, but then it goes to William Carrier. And you think about it, and it's like, okay, what does he bring? Yeah, you can say he brings that defensive, but he's a copy and paste of Jordan Martinook. They both are pretty much the same player. So I don't know. One of those guys are out, and it's definitely Carrier. And then the last thing I would say is this is kind of a hot take, but Nikishin has had a really rough preseason, and I think pairing him with Ghost, and that's what it looks like is going to happen if he makes the team, is a disaster pairing waiting to happen. Ghost already is really questionable defender in the first place, and pairing someone who doesn't speak English and who is also a questionable defender with him is going to be a disaster. We're going to get hemmed in. We're going to turn it over a bunch. We're going to let in a bunch of goals. So we got to figure that out. I don't know if it means it's a trade. We trade Ghost. We get a defensive defenseman to play with Nikishin. But we got a couple things to figure out. But yeah, I'm excited for Bradley Nadeau, and yeah, Canes are going to win tonight. And then last thing, Giovanni Smith's going to fight tonight. He's going to fight Gadjevich or AJ Greer from the Panthers, the 2 guys that were bullying us in the Eastern Conference Finals, and he's going to make a statement and show why he should be on this team. Boom.
All right, Micah. We'll see if you go whatever it's like 3 for 3 or 4 for 4 on predicting fights. Appreciate the call. The only issue I have with Nadeau for Carrier is that is literally like a 40-pound drop-off. I'm a big fan of Nadeau, but Carrier's like, 215, 220. On a good day, Nadeau is near 180. That's a big drop-off is in size, and it's not like the Canes have a bunch of big dudes in their forward group to spare. Nikishin and Ghost, I think that they're just, if we're being real, third pair because they want them to play third pair minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if that gets shifted around as the season goes along. But I kind of hope it doesn't, just because Walker Slavin and Miller Chatfield is so awesome to me. But obviously they can't play every minute. So there'll be some shifting going on there. All right, we have 2 more callers. 2 more, and that's it. All right, so they're sitting on the line patiently. We'll go there and apologize to everybody else that's tried to call in, wants to call in. We're a little squeezed today. David and Garner, you want to sound off on Dave Doeren? We want to hear it. Go ahead and sound off.
Hey, Tim, listen, Dave Doeren should have been let go 10 or 12 years ago when we lost that game at Clemson. We had a great ground game that day, and the guy missed a chip shot field goal, if all the Wolfpack fans remember that game. And we're just not getting any good recruiting. We need to go to Tidewater and to South Georgia and hit the Piedmont. North Carolina's a lot of good talent here. We don't need Mr. Football. In South Carolina, we're just doing a terrible job on recruiting. And offensive coordinator has no imagination. I mean, we're just too plain vanilla. We're too predictable. People can look at the game films. They know exactly what NC State's going to do, man.
All right. I appreciate the call. We don't have much time for it, so we got to let you go. But thank you very much for calling in. I do think and I'm not advocating for you. There's so much time for this conversation. But if they do move on from Dave Doeren, there will be a group of fans going, what's different this time, right? Because he's been kind of consistently the same level for a long time. So 14 years in, it's not enough, but 12 years in, it was enough to I do think you're going to hear some of that if it happens. Again, not advocating for it, at least not yet. Last one for you. Last caller, end it with a bang. We have Robert. He wants from the Triangle. He wants to sound off. Robert, thank you for calling in. Floor is yours.
I'm going to be quick. Nice to hear all the busy signals when I was trying to call. Thanks for the extended call-in time.
Of course.
I remember 2007, Ted Roof used to come 2006, 2007. Ted Roof used to come on the program all the time. Adam Gold for Duke football, the head football coach. Everybody was rooting for that one win in 2007. He finished with the win. The godfather of Duke football, David Cutcliffe, by the way, exceptional tipper. I'm going to go the last 20 games for NC State going back to 2023 at the end. Last 20 games NC State, last 20 games UNC, last 20 games Duke. Last 20 games NC State, 10-10. Last 20 games UNC, 8-12. Last 20 games Duke, 14-6. I'll leave it at that. Thank you. Bye.
Appreciate the call. Do you know what's crazy? I know what he was trying to do. A little mic drop there, a little like Duke's better. My gut instinct was that the spread would have been greater with Duke out front than it. Like they're only 4 games better than State. That's actually 4 wins more.
We know Carolina and State both went 6 and 7 last year. So
I thought Duke's won at least 8 games each of the last 3 seasons, and they're setting up to be the best team in the Triangle again this year. Like I'm not surprised, and I was not like, whoa, what a stat there, because I think Duke has played that style of football. Like don't sell the Blue Devils short. The Elko and Diaz eras have been pretty fruitful in the win column. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Thank you to everybody that called in. We do that every Monday, and we mix in other ways to hear your feedback throughout the week, but we love interacting with you all, and especially after a week end like we just had. You know, the one caller said thank you for the therapy. Sometimes you got to vent, and it feels better to vent where you know there's a whole other group there venting with you. So thank you all for calling in, and we'll continue to let you do that when necessary. The starting 5 is coming up next, and we do have that early out today. So stick with us and get ready for some Canes hockey later in next hour. Coming up.
The road to college football's national championship runs through 99.9 The Fan.
From the 25, Aller loading up, throwing down the right sideline. Intercepted! It's over! Dylan Thieneman with the INT, and the Oregon bench swarms onto the field. The Ducks have won in double overtime.
College football on The Fan is powered by Wake Med, Roofworks, and Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac GMC in Sanford.
One last exhale.
Fitting, isn't it? The final shot at the Championship 4 comes down to a track that's been here from day one. Martinsville. Close quarters, tight corners, and a fan experience that brings you so close to the action, all of the mayhem will be right at your fingertips. NASCAR Playoffs Weekend at Martinsville Speedway, October 23rd through the 26th. Get your tickets now at martinsvillespeedway.com. Ticketmaster, the official ticketing partner of NASCAR.
Are you trapped in a high-rate mortgage, watching your hard-earned money vanish every month? Stop. Right now at Loan Pronto, they are delivering the lowest mortgage rates in 3 years. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto's rate reduction home loan program is a streamlined, low-cost way to slash your house payments by hundreds of dollars a month. Lock in a fixed rate as low as 4.99% APR and close in as little as 2 weeks. No appraisal needed in most cases. And here's the kicker. You can skip your next 2 house payments entirely. Don't wait. Rates this low won't last. Call Loan Pronto now for your free, no-obligation quote. Loan Pronto is amazing. Imagine lower payments, more money in your pocket, and a fresh start with a better mortgage. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com to lock in your new low rate and skip those next 2 payments. Don't let the high rates hold you back. Call 919-381-1760 or go to loanpronto.com right now. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRL meteorologist Amy Wilmoth. Cloudy skies today with scattered showers, and that's going to continue through the evening and even overnight tonight. Temperatures will get down into the mid-60s. We'll have rain for at least the first half of the day Tuesday. Otherwise, mainly cloudy with a high of 73.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money at the closing bell. Dow Jones up 68 points to 46,316. Market update brought to you by Howard Hanna Allen Tate Realtors. Ready to sell your home? Trust the #1 real estate company in the Carolinas, Howard Hanna Allen Tate. Let us show you a real estate experience that is different from all others.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we get to the starting five, shout out to our winner. We did notify the winner of the Xavier Legette signed jersey that we gave away through our brand new application on your phone. And we're going to continue doing giveaways. All right, so we gave away the Xavier Legette signed jersey, which, by the way, this is just a funny story. The winner was, I guess, so not used to being picked as a winner for those sort of things, that he thought we might be a scammer or AI or something like that. So our promotions team came in and said they want to know it's really us giving it away. Can you hold up a jersey, like hold it up and give him a thumbs up like he won? And I was like, yeah, of course. So I grabbed the jersey, I gave thumbs up. Then they came back a couple minutes later and said, all right, now can you hold up the jersey and hold up the number 3? Because I guess the first picture we took looked like it could have been grabbed from like a promotional something or another. So I had to hold up the jersey and hold up 3 fingers to prove that it was actually us.
Who at this current moment is scamming giving away a Xavier Legette jersey?
Maybe that's why. They're like, no, you're not actually giving away a Legette jersey, are you? After that Panthers loss and he wasn't even on the field. But I say all of that to say this. All that person did to win was download our app, 99.9 The Fan, available at the Google Play store if you're on Android, the App Store if you're on an iPhone. All you had to do was download the app and then register. There's a little thing where you fill out your name, your birthday, and your email. And we might send you an email. It'll be that simple. It might even look like, oh, these people are trying to scam me, because we'll just send an email saying, hey, you win. And if you need me to take pictures to prove it's us, I'll do it, right? Stand on today's paper, like waving or something like that. I'll do it. Next up, our next giveaway, we've given away UNC tickets. We've given away Xavier Legette jersey. Next one, NC State Georgia Tech tickets, November 1st. Georgia Tech is undefeated. Some would say undeservedly so after barely squeaking by Wake Forest. But they are a top 25 ranked team, and they will be at NC State on November 1st. And we have a pair of tickets being given out on our app right now. Go download the app. Register, enter an email, all those things. Consume the content by all means, right? Enjoy what the app is there for. Live streams, podcasts, articles, everything. Check it out, peruse. But there's also a little tab that says win free stuff, and you can click on that and get all the details there. We're if you're one of the first, I don't know, handful of thousands of people to download the app, we want to give you some love. We want to give you some opportunities to win some stuff. Support those who support us, that kind of deal. So download the app. And congratulations to the very suspicious person that won the Xavier Legette signed jersey. Hopefully you enjoy those pictures of me awkwardly at my desk saying hi. Let's get to the starting five, starting with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stall right back to Martinook, centering it out in front. Nobody's there. Carolina will keep this one in. Low drive to score! Charles Alexis Lego with Lebu, and Carolina goes back up 4-2.
The Carolina Hurricanes play tonight. Matter of fact, you can hear it right here on 99.9 The Fan as they wind down towards the end of preseason. Max, I know you're a big Canes fan. You got your Canes hat on. What do you want to see tonight?
Just continued development for some of the prospects. Obviously not a ton of NHL regulars in the lineup, especially with it being a road preseason game. No injuries. No injuries, actually. That's the number one thing. Just everybody getting out healthy is the number one thing I want to see. And if Micah is right about Giovanni Smith fighting Greer or Gadjevich, I think that'd be hilarious as well.
Micah is unreal at predicting Giovanni Smith fights. I don't know if you've been on the show. He's either 3 for 3 or 4 for 4 on picking that he will fight, and pretty darn, he might be 3 out of 4 on picking who he's going to fight. Unreal. It's like a kind of useless skill that doesn't help you that much, but it's impressive nonetheless. Also, the correct answer is always everybody stay healthy, nobody gets hurt. That's the answer all the time for really any game. But I want to see Nadeau score. I want him to make it. I want him to make it difficult. I want him to make it difficult. That is number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
And just to build off number 5 quickly here, you can hear that game right here on 99.9 The Fan, the Canes preseason game, and on our app. Another reason to download the app. You can hear Canes action right there, 99.9 The Fan app on your phone. The NFL over the weekend. Heck of a weekend. Just a lot of stuff going on in the NFL. And we'll talk about the Panthers. We've been talking about the Panthers. But earlier I said this. Omarion Hampton, UNC former running back. He had a 50-something yard touchdown run. His most impressive run was not the touchdown run, by the way. He had a run where he was met at the line of scrimmage and shook off tackles, stomped over people, dragged them for, 15 yards. He finally looked like Omarion Hampton. Okay, I feel like there was a lot of people that watched ACC football and watched North Carolina football that were doing a lot of like, Omarion Hampton is that dude, and then through like 2 or 3 weeks you're going like, no, trust me, he's that dude. It's happening, and then it happened. It was a big explosion for him, which is good to see, even in a loss. For the Chargers, I think they've unlocked their running back a bit there, and if he can play anything like he played against the Giants moving forward, Rookie of the Year is within the realm of possibilities. Elsewhere, Peyton Wilson had a pretty awesome chase down block. Peyton Wilson, former NC State linebacker, not chase down block, chase down tackle.
Yeah, over there in Dublin.
True, in the morning game against the Vikings, Jordan Addison. And I can tell you this right now. The least fun person to be in film this week is Jordan Addison of the Minnesota Vikings. If you're a wide receiver, you have like a 5-10 yard head start on a linebacker in a straight race, and you get caught from behind, that's not going to go over well with the rest of the receivers.
Nope.
And we're telling you to unhook the trailer.
Yeah.
Telling you to take off the parachute.
Yeah, take the fridge off your back, man.
But what everybody doesn't know is Peyton Wilson runs like a 4.4. So
yeah, he's a crazy athlete.
He is just unreal. But it's still, it ended up weirdly one of those plays that you don't think means anything because they scored on the drive, but it ate up like a minute of clock, and the game ended up coming down to the wire, and you just never know those hustle plays earlier in the game. You just don't know if they're going to impact things.
I wanted to throw in a mention. You said Omarion Hampton, a chance for Rookie of the Year for sure. Mm-hmm. I guess he's in the AFC, but I was going to say he's going to have to beat out my guy Emeka Ibuka on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Darn right.
One of my just cornerstones of my fantasy teams. Dude is carrying me. I think he's at 4 touchdowns now on the year already. He's leading all rookie receivers. Shout out to Emeka Ibuka. That's my guy.
Just Ohio State copy paste.
Yeah,
like pro-ready wide receivers.
Smith and Jigba,
Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave.
Yeah, they're everywhere. Chris Olave threw an interception this week though.
Threw an interception and caught a touchdown. So he did a little bit.
And he had
a
tackle too.
And he had a tackle off his own interception. Also, bad play call. Who are the Saints? You have to be good to run trick plays.
And if you're the Saints and you're running trickeration and Taysom Hill's not involved, like what are you really doing?
Why is he on the roster? Olave as a receiver though, I think he's like 2nd or 3rd in the league in targets. Which targets is you earn them, right? You got to be open, even if you can't connect. It's important. Egbuka's pretty good. I mean, Ashton Genty had 1 billion yards and 3 touchdowns this weekend. I think Tedero McMillan is due for some big days eventually, hopefully, if the situation allows with the Carolina Panthers. Quinshon Judkins, now that he's gotten whatever off-the-field stuff in his rear view, the skill position, Tyler Warren,
yeah.
Tyler Warren, the tight end for the Colts. There are some very talented youngsters. Torrey Horton, who's like a late-round pick.
Jackson Dart finally got his first start.
Jackson Dart and Cam Scattaboo wasn't the most efficient day in the world. He had 900 carries to get like 901 yards, but the Giants won, so credit to them. Rookies having a good week. As number 4, let's get to number 3.
Here's Shepard again through the left side, cuts inside, runs over a man, into the end zone, touchdown! Get you some of that, it's 30-3.
We didn't talk about it enough. We'll have to come back and hit on it tomorrow. Duke rolled over Syracuse. Just steamrolled them. And Syracuse didn't have their quarterback. So I get it, right? People are going to put it with a grain of salt. But I'll add, Syracuse is a defiant organization. They've got some guys. Duke just took their will early, which is, there's a lesson there, right? The lesson is, if you have a team that's wounded, if you have a team that has some negative things going on, if you jump on them early and take their will, you can roll. The longer you let them live, again, metaphorically, the longer you let them hang around, the more they're going to believe in themselves and rally around each other and think they can get the win. The test for Duke is going to be consistency. Over the last 2 games, the State game, where they got behind early and then stormed back, and then the Syracuse game, that's what I expected them to look like at the beginning of the year. That's why I was high on them. I had them in the second tier of the ACC. I was high. After the losses to Illinois and Tulane, they're going to have to prove the country wrong for the rest of the year, and it's going to be a consistency thing.
It's a crucial stretch for them coming up, too. They have the late night West Coast road game at Cal this week. Then they have the bye week, and then you have a couple of interesting games. You're home to Georgia Tech. Who knows if they'll still be undefeated, highly ranked at that point. And then they go travel to a Clemson team that's had struggles, and they have another bye week in between those two as well. So this is kind of stretch of these next 3 is going to tell us a lot about what Duke can accomplish this year.
Darian Mensah is real, and we'll have this conversation later in the week again. I'm waiting for the first national draft guru media member to put his name in NFL draft talk. Maybe not for this year, the next year.
Is he the solution for the Carolina Panthers?
No. That's a more tricky question. My no says more about the Panthers than about Mensah. But once somebody puts him in a list, it'll be a conversation that happens for the next 2 years. I think they're all waiting for someone else just to break the seal. And then Kuiper will do it, and then McShay will do it, and then Matt Miller will do it, and it's just going to go on and on. He's going to be a guy. He might be polarizing because I don't know if he has the physical skills that the NFL is looking for, but they're going to put on some tape, and they're going to go, he's really accurate. And then it'll be a debate for probably the next 2 years. But it'll be a fun one to have, and we'll be right there up front for it. That's number 3. Let's get to number 2.
Just the 2 of us.
Bailey, waist-high snap. Lofts it, left side of the end zone. Touchdown, NC State. C.J. Bailey waits, surveys the landscape, and fires a dart to Terrell Anderson.
NC State lost to Virginia Tech. And I said this earlier, but part of the reason why that loss to me is such a brutal one for State is, if that game would have been week 1, we wouldn't know that State has some dudes on offense. But with it being where it was on the schedule, we know C.J. Bailey is good. We know he can make all the throws. We know he can run. We know Justin Jolie's a beast. And we know Hollywood Smothers is one of the best running backs in the country. So him getting bottled up by Virginia Tech hurts more because you're like, wait, no, he's legit. You should have been able to get him going. Here's Dave Doeren on why Smothers didn't have a big day against Virginia Tech.
Yeah, we didn't win the line of scrimmage. Yeah, I mean, they did. And so it's not Hollywood. I mean, when there's guys in the backfield and you're not getting the same running lanes, it's going to be harder to run the football. And so, we probably gave up on the run game a little bit too much. I know Kurt would say the same thing, because he still had 64 yards, but there was just too much penetration on run plays that allowed it to be a consistent thing for us. And it's fundamentals, man. It's nothing other than that. And so, Coach 2J and Coach Locklear, tight ends and O-line working together, and the offensive linemen taking advantage of their opportunities and getting more displacement and movement so that our backs, both of them, and our quarterback, I think offensive football, defensive football, same thing. When you win the line of scrimmage, everybody plays well. Quarterback has more time. Wideouts have more time to get open. Running backs have more time for bigger holes. And when you don't win the line of scrimmage, it's conversely the opposite. And same thing on defense. When your D-line dominates, man, everybody behind them benefits. And so we got to get back to winning the line of scrimmage. And that's a fundamental focus of our team. And it's disappointing that happened, but there's nothing we can do other than take that as a lesson and go get better.
Do you know what's funny about that? That's just symptoms talking about symptoms. There's nothing treating the cause. Why didn't Hollywood Smothers get going? Well, we didn't win the line of scrimmage. And then he explains why not winning the line of scrimmage makes it so much more difficult for a running back and a quarterback. Yeah. Why didn't you win the line of scrimmage? It's why are you wet? Well, when it rains, you get wet. So, okay, we're asking about why don't you have the umbrella? Why were you outside? Like, give us the you got to go one step further here, right? Hollywood Smothers and the offensive line have proven to be effective enough against teams and defenses that are at least as good as Virginia Tech's. And he has some pretty impressive run totals when the offensive line was getting bullied. Like, what was different about this game? Because he's good enough that he should have expected good things from him. And the same is true really for the entirety of the offense. Like, even in their losses, even in that game, they whet your whistle enough to make you go, there's still something there. There's still something there. Right? You see Wesley Grimes catch a crosser and just immediately speed up the sideline, or you see Justin Jolie make a tough catch, or you see Hollywood Smothers make 3 guys miss just to gain 2 yards, and you're like, there's something there. And you were never able to get the offense rolling. And it was frustrating. It is frustrating if you're a State fan. I'm certain of it. It was frustrating. What number was that? 2? Let's get to number 1. Carolina Panthers got smoked by the New England Patriots. And the worst part about it is, this is like I don't even want to say mean, but it's, if this criticism were said about a team that I were a part of, it would be one of the most hurtful things you could say. The Panthers don't deal with adversity well. They don't bow their neck and fight back. They're like, I don't know if this is the appropriate deal here. My dog, Border Collie, not a fighter, right? He is not. He doesn't scrap. If he could be playing with like a dog a quarter of his size. If that dog growls, he's on his back asking for belly rubs. He's not a fighter. The Panthers, they're not fighters. Right? If they're just playing, they can go have fun. They can go make it happen. But the moment the other team growls, they're on their back. Oh, I'm vulnerable. I'm safe. Let's just keep playing. Oh, I'm done. Go ahead. They came out the first. I tweeted this out, and it felt like it was I don't know, a year ago. Their first offensive drive was one of my favorite drives I've seen them have all year. Mix of run and pass. They got Tedero and McMillan involved. They trusted Bryce Young. The touchdown was a small window touchdown to the tight end. There were run plays. I was excited. That first drive, I was like, maybe they are building off of the Falcons game. Look at this. Defense gets a stop. Ball right back to the Panthers. I'm like, look at this. They even had a few decent plays on that second offensive drive, although it eventually stalled. They punt. Punt gets returned for a touchdown. That is the equivalent of immediately. Never mind, it's you. You're good. You got it. You take the chew toy. I don't want to fight. And the Patriots ran away with it. And Drake May ran away with it. And Stephon Diggs ran away with it. And from that point on, there was no Derek Brown one of the more physically imposing individuals on the Panthers, after the game, defended the coaches a bit, but also talked about being a player-led team. Here's some audio from the big guy on defense.
Coach takes the blame for us all the time. We got to step up and we got to have his back. You know what I'm saying? That feeling of last week is one that we need to keep having, and it's one that we got to keep working if we want to achieve every week, right? So, we appreciate him, but this team knows, man. We want to be a player-run team. We want to be a player-led team, to where it doesn't matter what he calls, it doesn't matter what Dave and Brad call. Or Tracy. We want to go out there and have execution at the highest level so we can enjoy the fruits of our labor. You know what I'm saying?
I actually think Dave Canales made a really good point about coaching when he was attracting the blame, which, by the way, credit to him, it's what good leaders do. In bad times, attract blame. In good times, deflect credit. That's what good leaders do. So Dave Canales, in his effort to attract blame, made the point of, if everything is going wrong, it's the coaches. It's the head coach. Right? If one thing is going wrong, you go find what that one thing is, right? If there's one player that routinely was having missed assignments, if there was one player routinely getting beat in his one-on-one matchups, if there were one position group that was routinely losing, then you go to that position coach or you go to that player and you say, you need to be better. If everybody is collectively getting beat consistently, that probably is a program-wide head coach roster assembly type thing. Any one problem can fall on that person. If everyone's a problem, it falls on the people that put it together. And I'm not absolving the players of anything, right? Because any one of them could be the spark that turns everything around. It's not happening. It's not happening.
Hopefully we'll see a spark this week just because of the nature of all the injuries. Jimmy Horn is finally going to get a shot to show what he has. Hopefully Jalen Coker will be returning soon. I know he's eligible to return this week, but it sounds like they're still kind of taking that week to week. So not expecting him to play against the Dolphins. But I'm excited to see if they can add a little bit of a dimension with Jimmy Horn on offense.
You're getting the Dolphins, who are 0-3. They played tonight, so they're on a short week. This has to be a game where, and by the way, if you look at the spread, I believe the Panthers are still, Panthers are still underdogs, plus 1.5. This has to be a game that the Panthers are expecting to win. And you go out there and you expect to win. You play like it. You demand it. You don't ask questions. Jimmy Horn Jr., I'm a big fan of him. I thought he had some zip at Colorado. I remember watching Shedeur Sanders tape and going, I don't know if Shedeur Sanders is any good. His wide receivers are studs. And it was Travis Hunter, and it was LeJontay Wester, and it was Jimmy Horn for the most part. So I like Jimmy Horn Jr. I think it's unfair to be an NFL franchise and having the third highest paid defensive back in the history of the NFL, one of the highest paid interior defensive linemen. You have the number 1 overall pick quarterback. You have the number 8 overall pick wide receiver. You got like a 6th round rookie coming in going, maybe he can be the spark. It's like, I think we have some others that should be in front of him in line. But none of them have been able to do it this year. None of them have stepped up in that way. So, yeah, maybe Jimmy Horn Jr. can be the spark. Maybe Jimmy Horn Jr. can step up and do the things that those high pedigree, highly paid players haven't been able to do. And I don't mean to single out them. J.C. Horn, I actually think it's hard. I think he's a pretty good player. But go watch the touchdown scored by, was it Hunter Henry up the left sideline? J.C. Horn was one step behind him for 15 yards. Hunter Henry should not be faster than J.C. Horn. And if he is, that's an issue in and of itself. But what more likely happened was J.C. Horn wasn't digging and driving as much as he should, hoping somebody else would knock him out of bounds. And that's not what you want from your third highest paid defensive back in the history of the NFL. I know today has been a lot of negativity here on the show, but as the few people on Twitter have pointed out to me multiple times this weekend, don't worry, it's almost hockey season. And with that comes Carolina Hurricanes hockey, which we can all expect will be a better product than much of what we've seen, definitely on the professional football field, but from the colleges as well for the most part. Duke's playing well right now. But with that, the preseason is nearing its end. They have a game tonight, and the pre-game, I should say, is actually going to take over 99.9 The Fan a little early. So we're going to bail. We'll be back tomorrow. Dennis Cox should be back, but Max, thank you very much for keeping us up and running the last 2 shows. And oh, right, download the app, 99.9 The Fan, on the Google Play Store if you are in the Android world, on the App Store if you are in the iPhone world. You can listen to this Carolina Hurricanes preseason game coming up in a few minutes. You can listen to it right there on the app, and you can listen to so much more, so much content about the teams you care about. With that being said, subscribe to our YouTube, and we will talk to you tomorrow. 99.9 The Fan, The Drive. We'll see everybody. Have a great night.
On the Wolfpack Sports Network from Learfield, this is Wolfpack Sports Today, your daily look inside NC State athletics. And now, here's Wolfpack Sports Today. A tough week